Tonight we celebrate. We celebrate a season now past, a champion twice crowned. Mason Houseman locks up this season's BRB Buttkicker Cup Series title by starting this race, clinching it above his fellow competitors. That said, tonight becomes a celebration of all that's happened thus far in the BRB Racing League and all that's yet to come. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Homestead, Miami, Florida. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Brutus alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Miami is brought to you by the Buttkicker, by Ascendance Trucking, Ideal Lease, Sundance Pizza, and by Whiplash Sim Cams. We join you this evening from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway, and Zach, you can just take a look at its old, true oval beauty. We talk about racetracks rarely being a true oval. This is a true oval. We've got four relatively symmetrical corners. They're a little bit different, 1 to 2, or 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, a little different. But for the most part, this track is symmetrical. It's a true oval. It is as close to a true oval as you're going to get at this scale.
Yeah, Homestead Miami Speedway has been through its fair share of, oh my goodness, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's fair share of reconfigurations. Obviously, it's got its infield road courses that it uses in a lot of different series that come to Homestead Miami Speedway, mainly Formula Regional Series or Formula Academies, and I think they even have the Skip Barber School come here a couple of points in time. But Homestead didn't always used to have its banking too. It used to be a relatively flat track that had very little banking. Now it's got a lot of banking, and the high side seems to be the best place for drivers to run, especially with it being dubbed the Larson line in recent years around Homestead Miami Speedway. So it's got its fair share of history now too when it comes to these reconfigurations. And tonight, well, looks like these guys in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series are going to add a little bit more to their legacy and their league history.
That they will. We take a look now at the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series chase points. This is about as spread out for the lead as you can get. Brendan Maddox, 64 points back on Mason Houseman. Turns out it's about 67 points, the max that you can get in a race. So technically, Zach, yes, there's a chance for now, but Mason's going to start the race. So barring a freak outage, and I'll knock on wood for him, but barring something freak happening, Mason Houseman will start this race this evening, the Buttkicker 300, and will officially take the crown as this season's champion, the second in a row for Mason, and that's solid. I mean, I would say that's good company, but he's the only one who will have done it. So, props to Mason. I don't really know what else to say there. Again, I would say good company to be in, getting 2 championships, but when you're the only driver in the series to have 2 championships, of course that's good company. So Mason Houseman will ride off into the sunset this evening and will be part-time next season as he's going off to leave Air Force basic training, the National Guard. I'm not totally sure. We'll talk about it with him later on this evening. Regardless, going off to basic training over the summer and will be part-time next season in this series. So this is his kind of last hoorah for the time being, Zach, and what a way to do it.
I'm sure everybody else is happy that he's not going to be full-time next season, but you're absolutely right. This is the perfect way to send him off, and he did an absolute stand-up job all season. Most wins on the season, 6 wins out of the 18 races that we've had. He could make it 7. He could break the record of most wins in BRB Buttkicker Cup Series history tonight. Right now he's tied with Gavin Rogers, 13 apiece, so there is potential for him to break that record. Obviously, everybody else could go out and grab a win tonight, but let's not discount the fact, Andrew, that there are points battles going on aside from Mason taking the championship relatively undefeated or unmatched at the moment. Brendan Maddox could lose position to Isaiah Sutherland. He could also lose position to Jared Hughes. Really anybody behind him in like maybe those next 6 or 7 spots. Most of these guys that are still in the chase, those 12 drivers, all of them could swap a few positions by the end of the night. Wolsifer could pick up a spot or 2. Catania could pick up a spot or 2. There's so many different drivers in that top 12 that could really swap hands by the end of the night with how close they are on the points. Same goes for the guys outside the points, outside of that top 12. There's a few drivers that are pretty close throughout the rest of the field, but, you know, obviously tonight's going to be about Mason Houseman taking that championship crown, and There's just so much else going on throughout the field. I don't want to take too much away from the rest with just focusing on Mason. You know what I mean, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, there's some really good battles, and if you take Mason out of the equation, you've got a 6-point battle right now between Brendan Maddox and Isaiah Sutherland. That would be for your championship. Instead, it's for second place in the championship, and Jared Hughes is not far back in that battle either. So a lot of really good battles throughout the field that we'll try and talk about over the course of the evening. That's a bit of a highlight, though, going in, and we'll talk more about this later on. And, of course, that best of the rest battle, Scott Fritz, Evan Patinko, Carl Pooler, they're all pretty close. Fritz certainly with an upper hand right now, but that could be erased if Patinko and Pooler get some stage points and move their way up. So a little bit of a highlight as to what's going on in the BRB Racing League and how everybody shakes out going into this race. In the meantime, 10 seconds remain in practice. There you go. Time is ticking on down. Adam Buzzio at the top of the field in car number 5. There he is. And there's a special announcement to go with this paint scheme. Zach will talk about it. Well, we'll talk about it now. He has announced that he is expecting, along with Julie Buzzio. So congratulations to the Buzzio family. And they've learned that the gender is female. So girl dad on the way is Adam Buzzio, as they'll be having a little girl in October. And we won't name names because we don't know who has officially announced it or not, but there's a couple of these announcements going around in the league right now. So Adam has made it very public with this paint scheme this evening. Otherwise, we'll respect wishes of those who have kept it a little bit more quiet, and we'll talk about those a little bit later on. But Zach, this is a really cool way to send off the season for Adam.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I was so confused there for a moment because Adam had actually announced to the rest of the drivers and us broadcasters in the league that he didn't want anybody to say anything yet because he hadn't fully announced it at Friends and Family, but that was a couple of days ago, so I'm backtracking it a little bit. But on the racetrack, Adam Buzzio going to start his qualifying laps here, and he was the fastest in practice. Obviously, Andrew, who's running the, as we quoted, the Larson line. It's what a lot of drivers in the iRacing.com sim tend to call it now. It's what a lot of NASCAR fans like to call it because Kyle Larson seems to have adopted a very good way of ripping that top line around the racetrack. You saw him tag the wall there a little bit coming off of turn number 2, but it's really one of the faster ways around the track. Usually run the high line in 1 and 2, down low in 3 and 4 like Adam's running now. Some like to run the full high line all the way around. Some just like to rip that white line all the way around. But as he comes across the start-finish line for his first lap, it's a 33.02, and that is going to set the bar for the rest of these drivers. You can see the rest of them taking across the line, all of them about a tenth slower or more. I say that, Moorbell
quicker, Johnny Wood Jr. quicker, so they move up the order now. Johnny Wood Jr. by a couple of tenths over Moorbell, a tenth or so over Eric Jensen, who looks quick in qualifying. Here's watching Buzzio through 3 and 4. Really nice line right down to the bottom of the racetrack, and he is getting all kinds of TV time for this brand new paint scheme across the stripe for Adam Buzzio. It's going to be a 32.792. That's nearly quicker than Johnny Wood Jr. as now Wolsifer and now Stallings go to the top of the board. Moorbell now up there.
Everyone's clicking off. Fast
Coulter
lap
Clark,
fast
P2.
Lap. There is just no stopping these guys. Isaiah Sutherland, a 32.54. First driver to go below the 6s. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of it shakes up. We see Mason Hausman's ticked himself on the board. Sam Dyer's gotten into the mix, a 32.72. That is a good qualifying performance from that 35 car.
Yeah, 5th quick so far, and make it now 6th, as there's another very special paint scheme for Dakota Camper that we may as well go ahead and talk about now. Camper wanted to make it known this week that he and his, wife, I don't recall if it was wife or fiance, but a significant other have struggled with infertility over the course of many months and finally won that battle and is running a special paint scheme here to commemorate it. So there's a message in my inbox I can pull up to bring up more information about it, but that was the Spark Notes version more or less, and Josh Anderson actually painted this paint scheme. So yeah, just some info back info, what's the word, background, there we go, on the number 3 car this evening, a new paint scheme for Dakota Camper, and he and his wife have been struggling for a long time. They finally won that battle, which is a huge congratulations due for the number 3 camp, and we're excited for all these big announcements around the BRB Racing League. It's some really cool stuff.
Absolutely. So many great things happening with this entire series. I love to see it. I truly do. And apparently, our race control for the evening, Mr. Rev, has decided to tell me that it is the Petty line on that outside line, not the Larson line. Change his mind. I'm a little confused on where he's getting the Petty line. I never heard of that before.
Well, what I can tell you I have heard of is Chase Elliott and his Napa number 9 from the NASCAR Cup Series. This is meant to look alike the 2020 version of that Napa number 9. And Dakota Bly has won most popular driver now 2 seasons in a row here in the BRB Racing League, and this paint scheme is to commemorate that.
Oh, I get it.
Yes, because Chase Elliott, of course, is most popular driver in the NASCAR Cup Series multiple years running now. And this gives homage, I suppose, to Chase Elliott and those most popular driver awards, as Dakota Bly qualified as 26th so far. And we'll start from that position as time is running out here in qualifying. So a nice highlight there for the number 84 car, as he has just wrapped up his qualifying run. Actually, that was lap number 2 for Dakota. He'll now come down into the pit lane and wrap things up. But Zach, that's a quick way to get qualifying out of the way and get us to our Lucky Performance starting grid. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Maybe. We'll find out. Let's take a look at the unofficial. I guess it must be official. I always want to say unofficial, but it's going to be official because it is the starting grid this evening. The Lucky Performance starting grid on pole. Oh man, what a front row right here. The 24 and the 3. They look the part as well. Of course, Isaiah Sutherland in that throwback Rainbow Warrior number 24. Going to be good looking on the front row this evening. He'll start this race from pole position. The Buttkicker 300. Pole position belongs to Isaiah Sutherland. Dakota Camper, his teammate, will roll off from the outside in row number 1. Starting 3rd spot, it'll be Stephen Borbell and Coulter Clark from 4th. A very strong qualifying performance out of car 54. Starting 5th, it'll be Dustin Stallings. 6th, Sam Dyer. What a qualifying run there. Starting 7th, Matthew Selby. A big-time run out of Selby. Wolsifer will start from 8th. Starting 9th and 10th, Gray Walker and champion Mason Hausman.
Rolling outside the top 10, you'll find Eric Jensen, who just led the league in prayer. Absolutely amazing to see Jared Hughes on the outside of him, starting 12th on the day. That's row number 6. Rolling on down, Johnny Wood Jr. and Adam Buzzio, 2 drivers who were very quick in practice. Surprised to see them starting outside the top 10, but hey, we'll see what they can do throughout the race. Zachary King starting 15th, and Brendan Maddox to his outside, one of the Maverick Motorsport cars. He'll be starting from that row number 8. Row number 9, Matthew Catania and Cody Dorsey in 17th and 18th spot. And rolling off 19th and 20th is going to be M. Patinko and Nick Renner.
Scott Fritz will roll off from 21st spot. Zachary Maddox from 22nd. Good to see Zach back in the field. Missed last week at Rockingham. Starting 23rd, it'll be Carl Pooler. Braxton Skinner starts from 24th spot. Starting 25th, Cole Lewis. Starting 26th, that's Dakota Bly. Back in 27th, it's Patrick Hernandez. From 28th spot, Jason Bottoms. And from 29th and 30th, Cole Younger and Robert Moyer Jr. Just a couple of cars left to go. Josh Anderson and Jamie Plourd in the back of the field. That is your full 32-car rundown. And Plourd may not make it in time. We're waiting to see if he's able to make it into the grid this evening. It looks like it may not happen for Jamie Plourd, so unfortunate there, but there's the rest of the field rolling up and on to the speedway. Zach, let's talk Whiplash SimCam's race details then. This is a 200-lap race, 300 miles, stages at 50, 100, and 200. 6 change sets, an increase from the usual 5, 80% fuel, fixed setup racing with 3 green-white checkers, and no fast fix available to these drivers. It's pretty status quo, but a couple of changes there in that it's the longer race length, and we do have 6 change sets.
That we do. This is going to be a grueling race, I'm going to say, for these guys, because Homestead Miami Speedway is known for tearing up tires a little bit, and it's going to be a factor, I'll say. I feel like maybe some of these guys will play it pretty smart, have a couple of sets left at the end of the night in case we have some green-white checkers. I think the race conditions for the day, the weather conditions are probably going to have a bit of an effect on how this race goes as well. You see it right up top, 74 for the air, 76 on track. So really cool for these guys. There should be a lot of grip, there should be a lot of speed, and there should be a lot of racing in these early laps.
into the Geico restart zone for the final time this season. We are green flag racing in the BRB Racing League. Coulter Clark sideways in 1 and 2, spinning in turn 2. Adam Buzzio involved. Cody Dorsey comes to a stop, and caution is out. Lap 1 for Coulter Clark.
Oh no. Not the way you want to get a race started. There's the 54 car. Coulter Clark. That's a rough way to get this race started.
Saw it happening from the TV shot, just got a bit free. Well, here's a look back at what happened to car 54. Running the seam down there, the left side's on the seam. That's a quick way to get your car upset. Those seams are good later in the run to help hook the car, but early in the run you want to stay off it with those cold tires.
And it looks like Zach King got a little bit of front end damage too. You saw Adam Buzzio got the big force of the blow, but apparently Zach King ran into the back of Johnny Wood Jr., resulting in a little bit of front end damage on that race car.
Here's the onboard of
Buzzio. Oh, just nowhere to go. How's the wheel though? It looks straight. Question is he down on power?
To the 51 here. Back in. He got a little free himself and just kind of stayed in the gas and ran it back in the 75 car.
Yeah, that front end punched in just a wee bit.
He brings it into the pit lane. The car looks okay, but a little bit of nose damage there. Meanwhile, the 5 car is what I'm worried about. Adam Buzzio. Big blow to the front end of that race car, the right front especially, taking the brunt of the impact, it looks like. Unfortunate stuff for sure for car number 5. They will each drop down the running order as other drivers pit and go by. There goes Zachary King back on the racetrack with a fixed front end, but Buzzio in trouble.
Not the way you want to start a race. See Dakota Bly, he's got a little bit of front end damage on that right front. He's pulling himself out of the pit lane. The focus still on Adam Buzzio, I'll say, just to get that car back out on the racetrack. I hope he'll be able to get back out. It doesn't seem like the wheel was too disconnected or anything. Might just have to worry about some nose damage. Obviously, the fact that he could be down on power, I think that's the main thing here, but we'll have to wait and see. These guys are pacing at the moment. We're waiting to see when they're going to hit the choose cone. But obviously, you got to feel for Adam Buzzio, as it looks like we're choosing this time.
And a new rule, I believe, is being put in place. I'm not sure if it's active yet for this evening or if it's going into next season, but that will clarify that penalty drivers. So if you cause a caution and get yourself a drive-through penalty, in the case of Coulter Clark here, would have to serve the penalty after the first green flag lap has been complete. So you can't serve it coming to the green. You can serve it the next time around, basically.
Which makes sense. It prevents drivers from gaining a certain advantage. That's what a penalty is for in all sporting events, to negate the driver's ability to cleanly, or any athlete, to be able to make it through their game or their race, whatever, without having any issues. And you broke the rules, you got to serve a penalty. That's just how it works in sports, and I think a way to get around it just makes it a little rough and negates that penalty.
Here we go, back around to the Geico restart zone. Let's try and get this race restarted properly. Lap 4 becomes lap 5. Geico restart zone. There we are, racing once again in Miami. A treacherous turns 1 and 2. A lot of drivers getting loose, bobbling around. One car way down to the inside. That was Jared Hughes, but we're single file up front.
There's definitely some contact going on back there. A lot of 3-4 wide action. Out in front of Isaiah Sutherland. Who'd have thought Buzzio had damage? Clicks off the fastest lap of the race, but obviously it's under caution. Look at that. Coulter Clark is spinning when taking his penalty. Oh my goodness, add insult to injury right there. That is brutal for that 54 car. Thankfully, I believe it's just a drive-through penalty, so he shouldn't really go a lap down. Look at Mason Houseman, though, putting himself around the outside, takes that third spot away from Stephen Borbell, and Dakota Camper's now out in front as Houseman goes for second.
Camper straight to the race lead here on this restart. He's going to bring that 78 along with him. Mason Houseman running the outside lane. Dove into turn 3, got ahead of the 24 for a moment, but Sutherland got back by. Sutherland being very disciplined down low. I like that, but I also like how quick these guys moving up top.
You see Selby on the bottom trying to make some headway down there, but that top line definitely proving to be a factor in this race. We saw a couple of cars tagging the wall. Houseman, Borbell, and I think Wolsifer as well tagging that outside lane. But as they roll, center and roll speed is very, very effective here at Homestead Miami Speedway. There you see Coulter Clark getting ready to go a lap down to these leaders. But we'll have to wait and see. Sutherland seems to like that bottom line, but Houseman likes that top line. When you find two drivers really comfortable with their lines, it can make for a great race with these two.
And of course, Mason Houseman has now solidified himself as the champion. You see Camper dive down the racetrack a little bit and give Sutherland a bit of a tow down the backstretch. That helps the 24 and hurts the 78 a little bit, but not much. You see the 78 roll the top side of the racetrack and have the run off the corner. Down the front stretch now, he's got a bit of a run. Can't quite clear that 24. He'll try it down here in 1 and 2.
Quite the scenario going on right now with the race up front. You see Wolsifer's gotten by Selby. He's challenging Sutherland for third as Houseman's well and clear into second. Mostly single file throughout the field. You saw Jared Hughes just inside the top 10. He's the first one down low, other than now Dakota Camper, who is working to defend his race lead. Coulter Clark way up the road. Like you said, the one in jeopardy of going one lap down. Camper left the top line open there, Andrew. I'm not sure how well that's going to work out, especially since Houseman just turned the fastest lap of the race. He really just gave him that top line.
I think Camper just wants to protect the bottom right now and stay disciplined. I like that. I really do. If you can stay disciplined here at Homestead Miami Speedway and save your tires, save your stuff, you're going to be good when the late stage running comes around. And these guys are good for just about the entire stage on fuel. It's going to be close. Some drivers may have to pit a little bit early. Some drivers may be good to the end, depending on how much they shift and depending on how much they fuel save. So it's going to be interesting. Now, of course, with that caution, Zach, these guys should have enough in the tank just to get to that stage end without having to save too much, but you never know.
They should. I understand where Camper's going with saving gas. I just don't know.
I think he's just saving tire. I don't think he's saving gas.
Yeah, but like he gave the spot up on the straightaway. That's what I was meaning. Like he left the top line open on the straightaway. That was just weird to me. Maybe he thought he wasn't clear, something along those lines. But hey, he's still running second. He's still staying competitive. But these top two are starting to break away from the rest of the drivers. You see Wolsifer has closed in on Dakota Camper to take that second spot away. He's definitely moving, taking that high line exit. He's going to be on the outside of the 3-car. Little bit of a squeeze, but it looks like Wolsifer is going to have a nose in there. I'm going to knock on wood before I even think about saying this, but Wolsifer having a very strong start to what has been an abysmal last few races.
Wolsifer up to position number 2, now chasing down Mason Houseman. Matthew Selby, a highlight here in the top 10. Has been running solid laps here to get this race going. One of the dirt races this season, you're expecting a shot at a place like Homestead Miami Speedway, but you also can't pass up that 11 that is charged through the field. From 20th spot, Zach, Nicholas Renner up to 4th.
How much do you think he is burning up his tires running through the field like that?
You know, I don't.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, you would think quite a bit. Top side is going to chatter those tires maybe a little more and demand a little more out of the weather. But at the same time, there's more banking up there, which should theoretically lessen how much the tire slips across the asphalt. As one spinning, it's Hernandez into the inside wall. Big hit, and a caution is out.
That's a heavy, heavy blow to that 91 car. And his day might officially be done right there. He's going to get that car back up and rolling. Heavy, heavy contact for that 91 car.
It's a long race, Zach. You can't have issues like this in the first 15 laps of the race. This is exactly what you really, really cannot have happen. In this case, for Hernandez, comes down the racetrack, and Maddox was down there.
He just came up from the looks of it. At least from that angle. They might have met in the middle from the fact that Hernandez was a little bit further off the wall than expected, but he drifts towards the seam, but he's holding his line. I think Maddox just came up right there.
Let's watch this in slow-mo. He holds the seam. That's not the natural racing line. It's going to be interesting to see what race control deems on this one, because the 8 is following the racing line. At the same time, you got to stay off of the cars. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. I can see that going either direction, with one car hanging off the traditional racing line, one car following the traditional racing line, one car following the seam of the track, the other car not following the seam of the track. That is a tricky spot to be in if you race control, and one spot that I do not envy. I would not want to be Rev right now trying to figure that out and decide who goes to the back of the field.
Apparently, Rev has just actually made his call from the tower, and he apparently agrees with your sentiment from what I heard, Andrew, that while the Hernandez was holding the seam, was not the natural racing line. And it kind of causes a little bit of confusion. Obviously, Maddox came up the racetrack, but there's outside circumstances realistically contributing to it. So race control is deeming it a racing incident, and we'll look at further review after the race is over.
There's Hernandez. Looks like he will be relatively okay. A bit of a hit to the left rear, but the car seems to be driving straight. So it could be a whole lot worse, as Coulter Clark will leave the pit lane here and get back rolling.
See Adam Buzzio jumping out on the racetrack as well. He's been working steadily to get that car fixed. So it's nice to see that he is still staying in this race, as these drivers have just chosen up here. We see the top 2 choosing the bottom. We see the other 2, 3rd and 4th, choosing the top. So a pretty even split up there. See Sutherland on the bottom, Selby up top, Stallings, Maddox, Borbell, and Catania, your top 10.
I'll take an early look at what's going on for us here at Pit Stop TV the rest of this week and into next week and the week after even, as we have nothing going on next week here at Pit Stop TV. We have a broadcast this Thursday. That's the North American Racing League heading out to Lamar for the 4th round of the 8-round season. And Sunday, it's the Majors World 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Gen 4 Cup car on the old Charlotte Motor Speedway high banks. And then Thursday, April 17th, we're back from a short hiatus, short spring break, we'll call it. We take the North American Racing League to Detroit. Here we go, back around to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are racing once again. Hausman, Wolsifer, Renner, your top 3, Camper in 4th, and it's a battle for 5th. Actually, Selby gets cleared to 5th, battle for 6th.
And we got a caution.
Back out.
Spinner off of turn number 2.
Patrick Hernandez.
Hernandez. I saw one car spinning there in the background, and I didn't realize what it was for a moment. This is on board with Hernandez from the restart. 07 of Josh Anderson on the outside line.
Just kind of watching here with Patrick Hernandez in the 91. One car got out of shape. That was Moyer. But Hernandez just loses it all on his own. And that's 2 back-to-back cautions for Hernandez. This one will certainly be deemed to be the 91's fault, as he lost it on his own there.
I'm very, very surprised that there was a caution for that, because it's not like he was totally out of control of the car. He wasn't completely spinning down the back straightaway, and not to mention, He was off the racing surface too, so surprised there to see a caution, but hey, it happens.
Especially after the lack of caution calling at Rockingham a week ago. We
Oh,
saw
boy.
that incident down in turns 1 and 2. That's going to be one that hits social media later this week. That was an insane incident to say the least.
Oh,
Richard Wilson
boy.
for a big part of that. There were some tempers flaring about that as well, but I think it's all in the past now.
I would hope nothing would boil into the last race of the season where these guys aren't going to be even on track with each other for about a month or two.
So they will be on track. They'll be running some off-season races.
Oh yeah,
they have a schedule posted, and you know what it includes?
What's that?
It includes the Legend car at the Charlotte Legends Oval.
Oh?
Gotta get to reading this stuff.
Man, I get so tied up with certain things. It just, it makes it a little difficult sometimes. And, you know, surprisingly, that is the Sunday, the day they're doing it on the Charlotte Legends Oval, that is. That's the Sunday before my birthday.
Or would you look at that? Well, I think it's a Thursday.
Tuesday. So that would be the week of my birthday. It is a Tuesday. My birthday falls on a Sunday this year.
There you go. Should be choosing right here. Houseman goes high, Wolsifer low. You see the rest of the field choosing in the background. Still a long ways to go here in this opening stage, all the way to lap 50. Certainly these guys will be good on fuel now. But plenty of racing left to happen here in stage number 1. And a ways to go for stage 2, and certainly a long race. Stage 3, 100 laps. We'll see a couple of pit stops, I think. Maybe 1, maybe 2, likely 1, I think. But it'll be right on the edge.
Wait and see how it all goes. Still a long way to completion in this race, and if you guys haven't noticed, because it took me a minute to notice, Andrew has updated our social medias. Our beautiful graphic now showcases all of our current social medias, including our brand new TikTok page. You can go follow along with that, see all the cool highlights that get posted from all the racing that happens here at Pit Stop TV. I feel like a uniform graphic would be nice too, Andrew.
Well, we're up to an odd number of links, so I had to punch it out somewhere. But here we go. Back to the Geico restart zone we go. Green flag back in the air. We are racing once again at Miami. Houseman down low through 1 and 2. That's going to bring us side-by-side between Renner and Wolsifer. They made some contact. Renner pulls right to the back bumper of Houseman and lets Houseman have it in turns 3 and 4.
You saw Houseman tag the wall there. You saw the sparks fly out from what was the left-hand side of the screen, but that's the right side pancaking the wall. Renner had a huge run. Didn't really go anywhere with it. Now he gets blocked off of turn number 4. That leaves the inside open for Wolsifer. Camper's going to go to the bottom as well, see if he can't make something happen down there. He's going to bring Selby with him. Maddox down low as well. He is underneath Dustin Stallings. Then it's suddenly Catania and King, your top 10 as they run single file down the back straightaway. See Camper throwing a heavy block on the bottom back there. Stallings washing up the racetrack into Selby just a little bit. There's lots of fighting going on. You can obviously see why fans love this racetrack, Andrew. Why they adore this racetrack. 3 wide going into turn number 1.
Fritz on the inside, Borbell in the middle, Wood up top. Johnny Wood Jr. getting over an illness back here this week. He is running mid-pack right now as Nicholas Renner will take it to the inside and back out and give Houseman the race lead back. Wolsifer down low this time. Renner running up top and in the wall. Just kissed it.
Pancake in the fence, just a little bit. Now I'm into the pancakes. I love pancakes, man.
If you ask Renner, he's a walking man.
Oh, goodness, man. You know, not to kind of go off topic here, Andrew, but pancakes and waffles, they're so hard to compare just because they're 2 different batter consistencies. Ooh, that was one car way out of shape. That was Zach King. He went all the way down to the apron. folds back up onto the racetrack, right in front of Scott Fritz, right behind Isaiah Sutherland. Still stays in the top 10. That was a weird incident right there for Zach King. He's going to get split 3 wide by Fuller and Fritz.
King sporting a new paint scheme this week, paying homage to his beloved Florida Panthers. Here comes Borbell on the inside as Zachary falls deeper down this field. That's going to be 14th spot now for Zachary King. Jason Bottles pulling up, one car way down low. That was Eric Jensen all the way to the apron.
I'm still confused by Florida Panthers. I thought it was the Carolina Panthers here. Are we not talking about football?
No, you got to watch hockey.
Hockey? Oh. All I know is that the Carolina Hurricanes are a great team.
Well, Renner covers up the bottom side there. Wolfsburg was looking bottom. Now looks middle on the outside of the 11 car and will pull to the outside and pass the 11 car of Renner. Now Camper trying to swallow up that 11 car.
Camper's still very, very committed to that bottom line. We see Houseman now running the bottom line as well. So there's becoming a little bit of a separation here now amongst these drivers. Some of them wanted to run the top early on. Now they're switching to go down to the bottom. I say early on. We're only 28 laps into this 200-lap race, but there's definitely some guys thinking differently as the laps tick down in the stage. You see Renner tag the wall a little bit there as well. The first side-by-side battle, though, that's a little bit further down the running order. That's Carl Pooler on the inside of Johnny Wood Jr. He was there momentarily. Now it's Stephen Borbell on the inside of Zach King. This is just outside the top 10. You see the car inside the top 10 is Scott Fritz. Johnny Wood Jr. chasing that down. Nice to see Johnny back as well. He was having a really bad lung infection, to my knowledge. That's what a lot of the guys were talking about, and he is making his first appearance back in about 2 races now. So it's really great to see him back on the racetrack.
Meanwhile, up front, as much as we love covering the midfield, it is getting spicy for the race lead. Wolfsburg was just on the inside of Mason Houseman through 1 and 2. This time, Houseman covers up the bottom of the racetrack, takes the air away. And we see this in the NASCAR Cup Series, right? On Sundays, the same battle happens. This battle of dirty air. You take the line away of the car that's trying to pass you, and they are stuck. They can't go anywhere. In that case, down in 3 and 4, you see Houseman take the bottom of the racetrack and take the air off the nose of Wolfsburg. And he's stuck between running the top side of 1 and 2 and taking the air away on the bottom of 3 and 4. Houseman has got the 56 of Wolfsburg stuck where he is. He gets tight right there. Pushes up the racetrack, carries that speed all the way up to the wall, and can't get a run. Tries again down here in 3 and 4. Sorry, 1 and 2 rather. I'm getting the ends of the racetrack mixed up.
Well,
just
when
alongside,
it's a true oval, hard to tell sometimes.
I just know one side's got palm trees and the other side's got grandstands.
Well, you see Wolfsburg in the coattails of Mason Houseman now. Renner still committed to that top line. I keep saying committed, but I feel like nobody's committed to anything right now. Renner's been in a bit of a long-term relationship with that high line, and he's flirting with the wall, so maybe cheating on the high line a
pass
little
right
bit.
here. Pass for the race lead. Richard Wolfsburg just drove on by the 78 of Mason Houseman, so change for the race lead, and that's going to be a new race leader in car 56. Richard Wolfsburg charging ahead here at Miami, inside of 20 to go here in stage number 1. Could we see a last-second stage win for this guy that's had such bad luck lately?
I really hope you knocked on wood when you said that, Andrew. Please tell me you did.
I did not.
Oh, no. I commentator cursed him last week, so it's your turn this week. But Wolfsburg, well, now in charge of the race lead. See if he can't go out and get himself a stage win. As Houseman now dropping back a little bit, still running that high line. Renner's caught back up to him, though, right on that back bumper. Seeing a bit of a repeat of what we saw on the restart. Instead, they're fighting for second rather than fighting for the lead. Dakota Camper's right behind him. Matthew Catania, though, he has moved up inside the top 5. He's fighting with Matthew Selby just a little bit further behind. Those two quickly trying to make work of each other. The favor going in the direction of the 18 of Catania, but here you see Selby taking a look down to the inside. He's got the nose in front going into turn number 3. They're almost 3 wide behind with Maddox up top looking in to hold off Johnny Wood Jr., who is riding the wall off of turn 4.
Mention the teammates of Catania and Selby. They've been a lot of fun to watch, and this is a dirt racer's dream, right? Come out to Homestead, multi-groove racing. You've got to fight the racetrack. This is a track we expect them to be good at, and we're seeing it here this evening. Up in the top 10 for 3 of the 4 CFM drivers. Catania in 5th, Selby in 6th, Fritz in 8th. Cole Younger, the odd one out, as he runs down in 30th spot, some 14 seconds behind the race leaders. But for right now, Team CFM is looking good here. They've got, again, 3 drivers in the top 10. That's more than I think anybody else has got in the top 10. Looking through teams, I don't see another three-peat like that. So the closest that I see is Camper and Sutherland from Racers for Christ. That's about it.
You want to talk about a statistic? We got about 5 drivers right now inside the top 10 that don't have the We've got Fritz, Matthew Selby, Matthew Catania, Nick Renner, and Richard Christopher. All drivers that are running inside the top 10. So there's something for you of having. I actually kind of missed the statistic there, but I'm playing into it, Andrew. I'm playing into it. I was currently having an earful, I guess, or an eyeful at least, of race control telling me that waffles are just pancakes and tabs.
Here comes Catania to the inside of Renner.
3 wide.
Camper in the middle. Selby almost made it 4 wide. 3 wide we go out of turns 1 and 2. Camper inside. Catania middle. Renner up top. Catania got free. He hooked the seam big time and the car over-rotated. That's going to bring Selby back into it. Everybody's all over the place right now. It's the late run here at Miami. That means anything can happen. These tires are worn out and greased up.
Hang on to her, bud.
Selby and Catania.
Oh my goodness, Selby hangs on to it. There's some big contact. You would think that this would be the last 50 laps or so, not the first 50. Camper now ducking to the inside of Nick Renner to take the 3rd spot away. One of the few drivers that has been fully committed to his line. Still running that bottom line, not fully clear of the 11. Can't slide up in front. See Hausman taking a look to the inside of Wolsifer going into turn number 3, but the fight's still in the middle of the pack. Camper gets sideways, gets the air sucked off that right side. That side force is such a big thing in racing. You hear a lot about dirty air. You hear a lot about that clean air, or how the dirty air affects the front and the rear of the race cars. But that side force, oh man, that side force, it can be a huge factor in racing.
Camper is getting swallowed up here. Yes, that side force is so important. There's not much of it to go around in this next-gen car. You're really relying on the aero downforce to keep your car down in the racetrack and the bottom of the car as well to help suck the car down to the racetrack. That's where you make your grip, really, along with the extra wide tires as Sutherland goes past Renner. That's for 4th. And Scott Fritz is blinking a ton, Zach. I don't know if you're seeing this, but down around the 9th spot, the 48 is in and out and in and out. He's back for now. Johnny Wood Jr. is right behind him.
Yeah, my eyes are really focused on the racing up in the front of the field, so I hadn't noticed it until you talked about it. You saw Selby try to hop in line a little bit, but Johnny Wood Jr. was there. Not able to put that 46 car in line. See Scott Fritz tagging the wall. Selby with a big save on
Johnny Wood!
Fritz is in the wall.
No caution for that. Fritz grinding up the outside wall.
Boy, you saw Dorsey almost tag Gray Walker right there.
Fritz with a lot of damage.
See what his wheel's looking like as he goes down the straightaway here. Oh, you saw how it kicked out a little bit there. Looks still at 12 o'clock, maybe a little off. Saw one car way off right there. Who was that? Was that Zachary Maddox?
Way down yonder.
I can always tell when it's Zachary Maddox, that bright Visa scheme. Up front, though, Brendan Maddox working on Stephen Borbell for the 7th spot. Nick Renner right up the racetrack. He's in the wall. Borbell's now going to get alongside that 11 car. That stunts the run of that number 8 of Brendan Maddox, so he's going to have to settle in still for that 8th spot. You see Sutherland looking to the inside of Wolfsburg.
Caution.
And we got a caution on the speedway.
I was just going to say a lead change was made as Coulter Clark is slow on the racetrack, spun out on the inside of turn 2. Lead change was made. Man. Mason Hausman back to the race lead over Richard Wolsifer. Sutherland in charge to 3rd, Catania to 4th, and Camper to 5th. But problems for Coulter Clark. This is going to be right on the edge of making it to the stage break. We'll see if anybody decides to pit here. But, oh, Fritz just comes up and kind of clears himself into the 54 car.
I was going to say, if that was on the 54 of Coulter Clark, that might have been a disqualification for too many incidents. But you see, it's just tight racing, and Fritz came up. I feel like his connectivity issue is having a bit of a problem with that, or a contributing problem to that.
I was just going to say, I wonder how much is actually what we saw on the racetrack and how much is connection with
Let's look at it right here. Oh, he kept holding it straight there, too. I mean, you know, when I see things like this, and this is kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit, I think to the old NASCAR 14, NASCAR inside line challenges, where when you were doing a real-life challenge, you had to replicate what happened in a real-life race. The cars had the telemetry of they wouldn't move. So if you tried to move around someone, they were running the line they ran in the race, and they just self-clear, and just it caused a whole slew of problems. You usually spin out from it. I feel like you know what I'm talking about, Andrew.
I do. Quickly, though, some cars taken to the pit lane. You see Dyer, Jensen, Buzzio, King, Fritz, Anderson, Lewis, Skinner, Bly, Moyer, and Younger all on the pit lane here. This is about a third of the field all pitting. And I wonder how much they'll be able to do on those new tires. I don't know that they'll be able to charge through much of the field, but you might see a few oddballs get some stage points out of this.
Surprised we're seeing people pitting now. We're only going to, well, no, we're only going to have a few laps to the end of the stage. They're choosing this time, which means they should be going green on lap 47, but about 4 to go in the stage. So if you're cool with burning a set of tires for 4 laps, by all means, go for those stage points. But
well, you could get tires now and hang on to them at the stage break.
Yeah, but
that 4 laps of difference shouldn't make a whole lot of difference when it comes down to making the rest of stage 2. I think it's an opportunity. If you're running in the back already, go ahead and take the tires, see if you can get some stage points. It's never not worth a chance, if that makes sense. But quickly, let's take a look at the partners here, the BRB Racing League and the Buttkicker Cup Series. Of course, the Buttkicker. This is the Buttkicker 300. The Buttkicker, leader in haptics, helping this series be what it is. I also want to give a big thank you to Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza, all allowing this league to flourish as it has done in these last couple of seasons. You know, we joined these guys back in Season 2, Zach, and nothing against them. They had about 20 cars per race. And I don't know what the effect was. I don't know if it was just some genius marketing by Stephen Borbell out of Buzzio and company or what, but they have grown this league into a leading league on iRacing.com. 30 cars this evening. 32 showed up, 31 started the race. 30 cars in the season finale in a chase format where the championship was clinched a race with race to go. That is impressive. To have 29 drivers on the racetrack that don't have a chance at the championship in the final race, that's impressive on iRacing. Here we go, Geico restart zone. It's going to be a sprint to the green and white checkered flag for stage number 1. Green flag is back in the air, 4 to go. Renner carving up that outside wall. Everybody else stays off it through 1 and 2. I see Maddox down low. He's making a move on Renner. He's going to bring Selby and Stallings. This is right around the cutoff for the top 10.
Not too many laps left in this stage, so it's an all-out brawl to get those stage points on board with Evan Patinko. He's sitting 2 spots out at the moment for those stage points, but he's trying his hardest, rolling that top line, seeing what he can make happen. He tags the wall a little bit. That's going to stunt his run. We see the top 10 just driving away as they're fighting a little bit further up. 3 wide now.
Sutherland to the inside of Houseman. Where'd this come from?
I don't know, but it's happening now. Sutherland trying to get the nose in front. He's got it off corner exit. It's going to be 2 laps to go on the stage. Look at Camper with a looseness off of turn number 4. He falls in line behind Catania. Now Catania drifts up top. Wolsifer down to the bottom, blocks Camper. Races for Christ having a good night with 2 of their drivers inside the top 10. 3 really, because Johnny Wood Jr.'s up there as well, unless I'm missing one. Oh, Dakota Camper. I got to stop talking, Andrew.
Camper around. He is a teammate to Sutherland, and this will be the end of stage number 1. I have to reiterate, though, that Johnny Wood Jr. drives for Limitless.
That is true. Oh, my goodness.
Regardless,
well, with
stage 1 win for Isaiah Sutherland, and this is a huge one to get over Mason Houseman in the closing stages. This will conclude stage 1 and give these drivers a chance to pit. And it looks like it's going to be Sutherland, Houseman, Borbell, Catania, Maddox, Wolsifer, Renner, Wood, Selby, and Stallings. There might be a couple of edits to that order, but that's going to be your top 10. And this, I'm going to nominate this for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day, because I don't know if Sutherland wins that battle off of turn 4 against Mason Houseman, but on the top side of the racetrack. So this caution came out at just the right time.
Oh boy. Well, good stops. Should see a couple cars stay out. That is Josh Anderson, Denzen, Skinner. One more car staying out back there. Yeah. Looks like
everybody
you finally got that
comes
damage
in.
fixed.
And this is going to be 4 tires and fuel across the board. We're going to see everybody go up on the jacks on the right side and the left and take fuel. There might be a couple of oddballs in the back end that take just fuel because they already took their tires. Camper now makes it to his box finally. That was the long run he had, as here comes Houseman off the pit lane, but Sutherland's going to just beat him out.
Woo! Talk about cutting it close off the pit road. Oh boy.
Well, after all of that, let's dial up Isaiah Sutherland, who wins stage number 1 here. And that is a theme. It seems like this guy always wins that first stage, but then something happens. Tell me, Isaiah, what are you going to do to prevent something bad happening here the rest of the race? It seems like you're always talking to us after stage 1. You always get this first stage win, but something goes wrong. So what are you going to do to prevent that from happening today?
I mean, there's not much you can do. To be honest with you, racing is a tough sport, and it's a heart world out here. I'll say that. But trying to stay consistent, stick with the plan that I had going in here. I've always liked Homestead, so just keep the car clean, be smooth and easy, and try to be there at the end. But you know, there's so many things with these next-gen cars. They're so racy, and air plays a big role, and tires as well. So there's a lot to manage, and there's a lot of comers and a lot of goers. And when that gets mixed together midway through a race, you know, it's hard to do what you want to do. I know that doesn't make sense, but you usually have a strategy planned out in our head, but it goes astray just because of all the racing people are doing and jockeying for position. So honestly, if the race stays green, I think that is what we really need. I think cautions have hurt me so much this season, and also being around teams that are just doing really well and working together really well. You can really team up on somebody. So hopefully it stays green, and keep the strategy like the way I want it, and not have to interfere with how I want this race to end. So just keep the nose clean, and we'll see.
Best of luck to you on this restart.
Appreciate it, brother.
That's Isaiah Sutherland with a stage 1 win, and we're going to cut it real close back to live picture. Well, it's been live picture, but here we go. For the green flag in stage 2, Josh Anderson, Adam Buzzio, Eric Jensen, and more on the restart.
Mostly single file amongst the top
Younger
3.
into the wall, and he's going to take the 75
Junior
with him. And Pooler and Gray Walker.
Oh, no.
Much like Coulter Clark earlier in this race on lap number 1. Looks like a quick and easy bobble out of the 13 car here. From Matt Julis C Speed Shop. A look at Cole Younger running down low, got the apron, bobbled up the racetrack, and boom, Johnny Wood Jr., Carl Pooler, and Gray Walker were on the scene.
That's just a rough day for a lot of these drivers so far.
Got a bad restart. It's just a tick off. And we'll ride on board with Cole Younger here and see what happens to him. Got loose, apron, yeah. Got to be mindful on those cold tires, Zach. We saw it happen to Coulter Clark earlier in this race. On lap 1, of all things. See it happen to Younger here. Here's the onboard, Johnny Wood Jr., who had nowhere to go. Blindside right there. Oh my gosh.
Saw him hang on to it though. Wonder if he has a little bit of wheel damage. That didn't look fully at 12 o'clock right there.
I would be surprised if it doesn't.
A little bit. So definitely some hefty damage on that number 75 car. Let's wait and see how it all pans out for him. Still rolling under the yellow flag. See Coulter Clark back on the pit road. Gray Walker is in. There's Johnny Wood Jr. getting that car fixed up. Carl Pooler. He spent some hefty amount of time in the box, as is Younger, and Fritz is away now too. Actually, he hasn't even hit his box. I wonder what he was doing back there.
But Fritz makes it into the box. There's Coulter Clark trying to recover from that damage earlier. Doing his best to recover anyways. Under this caution, this is going to give some extra laps led to Josh Anderson, who is saying goodbye to Meatball Motorsports and moving on over to the Racers for Christ Spur, which will be Southern Excitement Racing here in season number 4. A lot to be decided when silly season officially kicks off after tonight. League entries will be made final, for the most part, will be made, if you will, this April 4th, I want to say, this Friday. So these guys will be able to lock in their entries for season number 4 and find out exactly who's going where. A lot of announcements have been made, of course, including Whiplash Racing, the broadcast team, if you will. Nick Renner will be joining Whiplash Racing. We're going to bring in Cameron Carden and going to bring in Matthew Corder from this season, who ran part-time, and do our best to assemble a team for season 4. But that's just a fraction of what's going on in this league, Zach. There's so much happening behind the scenes.
That there is. There's always something going on when it comes to these guys. They've always got some great stuff happening, and I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'm ready to see what these guys can do, what they can bring to the table, especially rolling in to next season. I think they've got some great cooking.
Here we go. Lap 56 will be complete. Lap 57 underway. Geico restart zone. Green flag. Back in the air at Miami. Sutherland pulls the switch over on Josh Anderson, crosses underneath that 07 car, and paints that white line down low. Side by side they go for the race lead off of turn number 4 and to the stripe to lead the first lap, officially under green in stage 2 rather. Oh man, stage 3, that's another 50 laps away. There comes Buzzio after that spin earlier.
Great to see him still moving on in this race. He said earlier on the radio that his day was just about done with that lap 1 incident. Look at him now. He's still got speed. He's running up there trying to hunt Isaiah Sutherland down for that race lead. But it's a gaggle of cars chasing them all down, fighting it out for every spot on the racetrack, high side, low side, wherever you can put the race car. They are all just duking it out.
Adam works the outside here of Isaiah Sutherland. This is 2 wide for the race lead. They get a that single file now. You can see the 3 wide behind him off the corner. That's going to meet in the middle. That was almost a big crash. I'm glad they made it through. That was close. Houseman down low. Josh Anderson up underneath Wolsifer. Eric Jensen's up here. Stephen Borbell, Nick Renner in the middle. 3 wide off of turn number 4. Skinner backs out. Here comes Borbell. Craziness right now up front as Buzzio takes the race lead.
By a good margin, too. Clear by about 3-4 car lengths off of turn number 2. Jensen tags the wall back there. Houseman all the way down to the white line. Maddox is right next to him. They're about 4 wide.
They are 4 wide.
Number 3.
Renner, Houseman, Maddox, and Anderson were all 4 wide there into the 3rd turn.
Actually, they get 5 wide.
I don't want to see that.
Look at Catania. He takes a look down to the bottom now. Maddox to the inside of Renner. Catania down underneath of Houseman. And Renner's way up against the fence. Trying to get a good run here off of the wall. Brendan Maddox will lose that ground. Houseman now next to that Maverick Motorsport car. His teammate, that is. 3 wide behind him, though. Selby in the middle. King on the bottom. Haven't those two had a little bit of history throughout the season?
I feel like everybody's had their own history this season. It's been crazy stuff here in season
Zach
number
King
3.
just touched the apron, too.
Yes, he did. Hangs on to the race car, though, as Buzzio will take over the race lead over Wolsifer and Borbell. A couple of longtime members there. That's about the heart of the league right there, those 3
What
drivers.
happened, actually? Sorry, Andrew. I'm looking at the ticker, and Sutherland has actually dropped down quite a bit.
Well, it's the
He's
same
all the way
thing as
back
stage
to Houseman.
1. Same thing as stage 1, right? He's staying disciplined at the bottom of the racetrack. That's what saved him those tires, and I think ultimately won him that first stage. Staying disciplined, working the inside of the racetrack, and not overdriving early brought him back through the field to battle with Houseman for the stage win, and ultimately he got the stage win thanks to that caution flag coming out. Very different from what you're seeing Nick Renner doing. Renner is running those tires for all they're worth, and he is cooking on the outside lane.
Hey, see, Wolsifer now is caught up to Brendan Maddox. Renner is going past Wolsifer, though, into turn number 3 in the coattails, really right on the bumper of that number 5 of Adam Buzzio. Wolsifer now single file behind Renner. Borbell Houseman now pulling away from Isaiah Sutherland. He's lost a good margin up to Mason Houseman, who's now going around Stephen Borbell in that 4th spot, ripping that top line, and we're 3 wide for the lead.
Buzzio up top in the wall. That's going to bring Renner with a run. Going to bring Wolsifer with a run. Into turn 3. It's only lap 64 of 200. Long race, and these guys are going crazy.
Boxed in by Buzzio and Wolsifer. Renner couldn't take advantage of that run that he had, but he'll have more of a run coming off of 4. Still boxed in by Wolsifer and Buzzio. It's like a tag team right now on that 11 car. They're not letting him move forward. He's got the momentum. He's got the roll speed through the center exit off, but he can't go anywhere with it. But now Wolsifer has pinned himself on the outside of Buzzio. They are officially 3 wide for the race lead. Buzzio way down to the bottom. Renner up on top. He's going to be the one who's the beneficiary of the battle, and he's going to take advantage, but there's contact for the lead.
Wolsifer drives in and hits the 11. Renner hits him back. Contact off the corner again there. This is getting dicey. And Renner drops down to the inside that time into 1 and 2. Stays off the top of the racetrack. Houseman, Buzzio, Borbell right behind. And Evan Patinko, Zach, he is driven up to 6th. Where did he come from? Crash in the back. Carl Pooler.
Oh, no.
More crashing. Jason Bottoms. Josh Anderson, Braxton Skinner.
Oh, Skinner's got some major left front damage. That wheel was pointed in the very wrong direction on that race car.
Look at the 87.
We've got multiple cars. Bottoms, Dorsey, and Josh Anderson all with meatball flags.
Sounds like a pretty big crash here off of turn number 2. Jason Bottoms heavily involved.
Also, Carl Pooler.
Yeah, that was the first car we had seen. And we'll look back at it here from the blimp. Inside of Jared Hughes. Braxton Skinner is up there. Pooler got loose, overcorrected.
Oh.
Boom. Skinner, Anderson, and then Dorsey and Bottoms took themselves out.
Gosh. Well, Bottoms, I think, wasn't Bottoms that one up on the top there that got right behind Skinner? There was one other car down there.
No, that was Josh Anderson. It was Dorsey and Bottoms down to the bottom of the racetrack. They impact the inside wall. I'm going to try and break this down a little more here. So let's watch back. Cooler gets free here. Loses it. Overcorrects.
Faces
Boom.
it.
Skinner. That involves Anderson. And then you see sliding through the frame as Dyer hits the wall on his own. Sliding through the frame was the 87 of Jason Bottoms. So we'll recap how he gets involved here. Here's the 87. He dives low to try and miss it. Dorsey's there, and teammates take themselves out.
He hit it. Oh, and another impact there for Josh Anderson with Bottoms, or excuse me. No, that is Bottoms. Going back up on the racetrack, but you saw Dorsey. He hit it right where the inlet is for safety crews to come out onto the racetrack, and we've seen how many times in the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and then the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, just how often hitting that wall, because when you hit the wall on the inside or on the outside, you're hitting it at an angle, but when you hit the angled wall, you're hitting it straight, full force. The impacts that can happen from that are catastrophic.
On board of Jason Bottoms. Really big couple of hits for Bottoms and Dorsey. Watch Dorsey on the inside. Cooler in the center of the frame is going to lose it right there and overcorrect. Boom.
Oh, man.
And then Anderson comes by.
Just insult to injury right there. Had already been involved and got even more damage from the 87. That's more cars out of this race, Andrew. It's like we're thinning the herd here.
That's one way to put it. Yeah. That's
An interesting way to put it. We'll call it that. And we've still got plenty of racing left. We've got 31 laps to go when we take the green flag here until we hit the stage end. So they've got plenty of time to sort it out amongst themselves, but as this race rolls on, you're just going to keep running out of time if you keep getting in incidents like that.
I keep looking for something to nominate for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day, and I just haven't, aside from that stage 1 caution that benefited Isaiah Sutherland, I just haven't found anything yet. Certainly nothing really lucky in that crash. Unlucky maybe, but certainly not lucky. And we're looking for something lucky, so drivers, give us something here. Somebody find a horseshoe somewhere on the racetrack and we'll nominate you. But we'll come back around to the Geico restart zone this time for a nice little restart here. On to lap 70, Richard Wolsifer, Nick Renner, your front row, green flag, back out at Miami. Side by side for second, Renner and Borbell. They've had some disagreements these last couple of weeks in and out of the league Discord. They're running right next to each other on the racetrack, though, as Renner looks to the inside of Wolsifer now for the race lead.
Side by
Renner's
side.
got it.
Yeah, Renner led that lap. Ooh, they got really close together going into turn number 1. I thought Wolsifer was going to hook that 11 car, but it looks like they get clear of each other, so everything works itself out. Catania just moved on by Buzzio right there for the 6th spot.
Things shout out this guy. Evan Buttkicker, sporting the new Redacted Motorsports design here for Full Send Racing in their rebrand. That was announced earlier today. This is a career day for Evan Buttkicker right now, running inside the top 5. Make it 6th now as Catania goes by on the inside, but still running top 5 pace. This is, I don't know where this came from. Here he goes, going to muscle back by Catania, the 81 and 18 battling, and there's Wolsifer now, so he's got a handful as he looks up at nearly the race lead. I don't know where this has come from for Evan Buttkicker, but I am here for it.
I do. We talked about it the last couple of weeks, or at least I've tried to make a mention of it here and there. We talked about it at Rockingham. This man has picked up he's been running in the top 10 a lot more consistently lately. He's been having some good runs. The results haven't showed it just because he's been getting caught up in a few different things. But this man has absolutely picked up the pace lately, and he is showing what he's got here tonight.
Handful of cars now out of the race. We'll mention some of them. Patrick Hernandez, Cody Dorsey, Jason Bottoms, Braxton Skinner, Sam Dyer, Josh Anderson, and Cole Younger out of the race or off the racetrack at this point in time. That leaves 24 cars on the racetrack for these 130 to go. And Buttkicker is making the most of his opportunity. He is doing a fantastic job. Running up top, battling for the top 5. Borbell comes off the corner right in front of him. And that black 81 is going to try the outside down here in 3 and 4. Borbell and Catania nearly make contact.
Tanya had a big look down there to the inside. He's not going to be able to make anything of it right now. But he's trying. He is definitely trying. A lot of cars still ripping that top line. Evan Buttkicker is eyeing that third spot of Richard Wolsifer. I feel like he's been hearing that we're talking about him, Andrew. He's showing that he's got the speed and he wants to go up there and prove it. Catania to the inside, though. He's going to try to take the spot away down on that bottom line. Not too much can be done. He's got the nose in front. He's going to be able to complete it. No, Buttkicker still hanging on to that top side.
That's for 4th position between those two. Buttkicker now going to drive down low, and that's his nickname, Down Low Buttkicker. Tries to cover off the run from Catania, but Catania's going to muscle on by anyways, looks like. And down the backstretch, you see just how close they are. Side by side, Buttkicker gets a side draft and drives back up to the outside of the 18. This time, Catania might have him cleared, and yes, he will. There's Buzzio in the background as well.
Nice to see Adam Buzzio still in this race.
At all.
Having some fun.
Let alone in the top 10.
Yeah, he's working himself up there. He's going by him Buttkicker now, so he's going to retake that 5th spot. Eyeing Matthew Catania. Stephen Borbell looking to the inside. Might get a little free wide action here.
Give another bit of props to another driver in the field that is really outperforming their other runs this season. That's Zachary Maddox. It's been a really rough season for him, but he is top 10 right now, at least racing to stay in the top 10 here in stage 2. About 20 laps to go. He could earn himself a stage point or 2 here. This is a really good run shaping up for the 14 of Zachary Maddox. It has been, again, a really rough season for him. But that V-Carb paint scheme, the Visa Cash App Red Bull look-alike, I think that's all of the abbreviations there for V-Carb, I believe anyways. But yeah, just a solid run so far out of Zachary Maddox. He just passed his brother who won the race last week at Rockingham. This is everything you want and more for the 14. He's got more to show. He's now 8th, looking for 7th. There he goes. The inside of Stephen Borbell. Big move from the 14. That's going to be good for 7th, now 6th. Zachary Maddox using some new tires to keep moving forward.
Looking for some good speed. He's been seeing his Maverick Motorsport teammates winning races, and he wants to join them. One of the only Maverick Motorsport cars that has not won a race this season.
He is the only Maverick Motorsport driver not to win a race so far.
Oh boy. I'm sure he wants to change that.
You see all this craziness back here with Stallings now diving to the inside of Maddox. Selby and Camper side by side. Can't forget that Renner is leading this race. Nick Renner out front of Mason Houseman, Rich Wolfsburg with now 20 to go in stage number 2. Could Renner get himself a stage win before the end of the season? Oh, Maddox in the wall, Buttkicker in the wall. Two guys we've been talking so nicely about this evening.
I thought one car was spinning back there for a second. That's what it looked like. But they're all still running good, running straight and having fun as we are within 20 laps to go of stage number 2 being completed. You know, Andrew, you talked about Isaiah Sutherland having, you know, falling to the back to save tires a little bit. He's fallen a little bit further back than we expected him to. He's down to the 12th spot, outside of the top 10. He's kind of trying to claw his way back up there a little bit.
I think he's starting to use his tires now and trying to get back through this field. It is a little further back than I would have expected in a disciplined tire standing. Rod as Maddox goes down the racetrack. Zachary Maddox, and nearly, he might have got the inside wall there. The car looks okay, but that was a wild moment for sure for the 14, who's on brand new tires, at least relatively new tires, 15 laps old compared to 30 or so for the leaders. He's loose again.
He's having problems.
Yeah, that good run out the window. He is down to 15th now. Here comes Stallings, Maddox, and Patinko by the lap car of Pooler. Sutherland on the back end of Pooler, and Pooler holds high. That lets all these guys go by on the bottom side. Buzzio included. Camper is there. Sutherland just staggers to the inside of Selby. Made it look easy to get down to the inside of that 46 car, but I assure you it was not easy to get that car down there.
Doing everything they can. Ooh, look at Selby shooting to the bottom.
Oh, and Patinko held up Stallings. Selby on the door of the 24. This is absolutely just a frenzy right now. This is insane.
Hey, man, they're having some fun.
Yeah, they are. Out front, 15 to go in stage one. This is your top three, Renner, Hausman, and Wolsifer. Hausman makes sense. Renner has shown some speed. Wolsifer's just had a lot of bad luck. An interesting top three nonetheless, as Borbell sits in fourth, Catania in fifth. That's your top five so far as we work lap 86 of 200. And here comes Wolfsburg to the inside of Mason Hausman. It's for second place.
These three have been well and away from everyone else, just absolutely fighting it out. They have done an absolute stand-up job to keep themselves up front and rolling. They've broken away from the rest of the field, too. About a full second from Hausman to Borbell. So I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to these three fighting it out for the stage win, as they currently are doing right now.
I wouldn't overlook this guy. The 24 is climbing back through the field. He's up to sixth. He's about 2.2 seconds back in the race leader right now. Even Wolfsburg is making inroads on that lead to Nick Renner. The 11 car right now is a sitting duck. He used his tires to get to the race lead. I don't know how much he can do defending it. And Wolfsburg was way free off the corner that time.
Well, you know what? You might not be wrong, because last time by, Sutherland was 0.3 quicker than anyone in the top three.
He's climbing up to Catania. This is the onboard of Isaiah Sutherland as the laps wind down here in stage number 2. I talked about it in stage 1. I talked about it again here in stage 2. The discipline shown by Isaiah Sutherland and his teammates to run the bottom of the racetrack, save their tires, and wait for the end of these stages. It's impressive. He runs 6th, Camper runs 10th. Those are the two I saw doing it.
0.3 quicker that last time by than Renner, a 10th quicker than Hausman, and 6/10 quicker than Wolsifer as they click past the line, though. A 33.52 for Renner, a 33.41 for Hausman, 33.44 for Wolsifer, and a 33.10 for Sutherland as he gets on by Catania.
Catania dives on the inside, but Sutherland covers it up. Out front, it's Renner over Hausman. Renner gets free. Here comes Hausman on the outside.
This is going to help bring in Sutherland. Hausman clears low and away. Borbell gets on by for third. He's looking low. try and see if he can't get up there a little bit further. Borbell is probably one of the only other faster cars on the racetrack. Houseman clicked a 33.54, 76 for Renner, a 36 for Borbell, a 75 for Wolsifer, and a 13 for Sutherland. So this is starting to get a lot closer and closer as we click towards the end of the stage, Andrew. We're within 10 to go, 9 here at the line. You might be right about Sutherland.
Wolsifer tries to cover it up, can't do it. Here comes that 24 on the inside. Skates on by the 56. See single file all the way down through Jensen at 16. Everybody's spread out now. A long run in the making, and Sutherland dives in deep on the 11 car there. Can't quite get to him. Now he's going to pull on by on corner exit. Sutherland up to third. He has got the tire saving figured out, let me tell you.
Still just under a second away from Mason Houseman, who is chasing a record-breaking 7th win on the season. It would be career win number 14 for Mason Houseman, should he be able to get it done tonight as well. As we're 3 wide right behind him, that's Catania in the middle. Selby on the bottom, Wolsifer up on top, Stallings right behind, seeing which line he can go with, that he's going to be able to get some more ground on any of these guys. Catania clears. Stallings to the bottom. He's going to try to get a 2-for-1 here into turn number 3.
And Wolsifer fell back. Wolsifer down to 8th spot. He was just battling inside the top 3 a couple of laps ago. Now it's Borbell and Houseman out front. Sutherland is stalled out. The 78 and the 2 will battle for stage 2 rights. That was 6 laps to go at the stripe. Sutherland's not done yet as Borbell goes all the way down to the apron there off the corner, as does Catania. On board the 24.
Half a second to the leader. 5/10, 5 to go. Borbell looking on that low side, trying to see if he can't find a way around Mason Houseman. Doing everything he can. He loses the run. That's the big thing about the bottom here, Andrew, is you just lose that corner exit speed. The high side just carries so much momentum. Now Sutherland back to the bottom of the racetrack, painting that white line with Houseman. 4 to go in the stage of the line. Borbell sees the speed and lets him go on corner exit. Maybe he got a little loose there too. He's really squirrely from that camera angle, but Sutherland now clear for second, and he's hounding Mason Houseman for that lead with just under 4 to go in the stage.
He's got a monster run right to the inside of the 78. What did I tell you? I told you he was saving these tires. I told you he'd come back late in this stage, and here he is, that 24 that looks so good. I know you like seeing that 24 out front, Zach, and he has just made the charge from the back to the front.
I told you that top line really gives off a big run. I think they're 4 wide off the corner here. They are. They're throwing a camper to the inside. Catania's beating it, banging off the 11 car. And they're squeezing Selby in the middle here. They're 4 wide through the corner. Get a shot of that, why don't you? That is one picture perfect move. Through 1 and 2, they're still 4 wide. Now they're back to 3.
Yeah, Renner cleared them, got by Catania, Selby, and Camper. Now closes the door, goes all the way down from the attic to the basement there. Camper gets tight.
Pinching Camper.
He stays 3 wide right behind. That's Catania up top, Selby and Camper now fall back. And we are not done for the stage here. Second and third battling off the corner. This is for second with 2 laps to go.
Still side by side down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Houseman still has the nose out in front. That bottom line just really struggles. That's what I've been saying on corner exit. The high side carries so much momentum. That's where they get all their straightaway speed. And usually the high side carries the most momentum at any given racetrack. It's just the bottom carries so little ground. It's easy to make moves down there, especially at short tracks. But when you've got banking like you do, Hausman, big wiggle
to the stage here.
Turn 2.
It's Sutherland, Borbell, Hausman, Stallings, Catania, and then in the back, you've got Maddox, Camper, Renner, Selby, Walker, everybody trying to fight for a stage spot. Renner trying to hang on to it, but here comes Sutherland to the stripe to win stage number 2. He does it over Borbell and Hausman. Stallings, Camper, Catania, Maddox, Selby, Renner, and Gray Walker gets himself a stage point here at the end of stage number 2. But once again, Isaiah Sutherland, stage 2 winner. That means we'll be talking to second place. That'll be Stephen Borbell. What a day that's shaping up for Isaiah Sutherland. And this is proving you don't need to dominate the day. You don't need to lead all the laps. You just need to get the stages and then be there at the end.
He's been definitely on rails this whole race so far. But down into the pit lane, Sam Dyer's going to stay on the racetrack. Carl Pooler's going to stay on the racetrack. Waiting to see if anybody else comes around to stay on the racetrack. It looks like the rest of the field is just going to pull it down into the security of the pit lane. And pit stops are underway.
Pit stops underway just past halfway here. Of course, that concludes stage number 2. We're on to stage 3 for the rest of this race. More stage racing. It's about a 100-lap race from here to the end. It'll be something like 96 green flag laps as Hausman beats the 2 of Borbell out of the pit lane. But we'll still dial up driver number 2 as he takes second place here in stage number 2. A solid run out of Stephen Borbell. We'll dial him up and talk with him. It's been a couple of weeks since we spoke with Stephen Borbell. Last time out, it was after disappointment in Talladega. Now that we're talking to you, your second place, your next best in stage number 2. We already spoke with Isaiah. How's the 2-car feel?
Hey, Andrew. It's feeling really good. Homestead's always been one of my favorite tracks, and just to see that the bottom is planning out on the long run like I anticipated is nice to see. Just hope for a bunch of long runs, and I think we'll bring it home at least top 5, so it's fun.
It's fun. That's a good thing to hear. I know for a moment there it wasn't as fun, so I'm glad things are changing around for you. But you mentioned the bottom side being better on the long run and that it plays into your wheelhouse. Why is that? Why is the bottom side better, and why do you like that so much?
I mean, it's purely hypothetical, but I think it has to do with the way I bring it into the bottom. You really ease into the brake and ease into the throttle, so you're really not putting too much weight or pressure on any of the tires. My tires seem to be wearing pretty easily, and it's a loose off, which I really enjoy. So anytime we can go to a next gen track and it's loose, the next gen car is loose, I have a good time. So it's been a lot of fun. Sorry, I got a lot of things going on my ear.
Well, it's good to check in with you. We'll let you get back to it here for the restart. Best of luck.
Appreciate it, Andrew.
That is Stephen Borbell about to come to the stripe, restarting from 4th position. The iRacing.com safety car will peel off to the relative safety of pit lane, and we'll get back rolling here for stage number 3. I want to give a shout out to those who make it happen for us here at Pit Stop TV. Quickly, Whiplash, SimCams, ATVOs, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and North American Racing League. Here we go. Geico restart zone, green flag, back in the air. We are racing once again in Miami. Off the second corner, it is Sutherland, it is Hausman, Borbell, Stallings, and Camper, your top 5. Renner's not far back. Selby and Catania right there. And Jared Hughes even in the top 10 to complete this first lap of stage 3. Houseman going to look to the outside here in 1 and 2 and charge right on by Isaiah Sutherland, who has been oh so disciplined down low. One car way to the inside. That's Robert Moyer. We keep rolling. Houseman, Sutherland, side by side. Borbell sitting in third. Camper in fourth. Stallings in fifth. Camper goes way up top here in 1 and 2. He's going to have a run down the backstretch. Pulls up to his Racers for Christ teammate, Isaiah Sutherland, and chooses what to do next. He'll stay up top. The Infertility Awareness, number 3, roll to top side. High, wide, and handsome has a run here down the front stretch. He's going to push his teammate and stay ahead of Stephen Borbell. And a spin. Selby just hangs on to the race car that was off the nose of Nick Renner. I'm glad they keep things straight. That was scary for a moment. And they're not done. They're packed up 3 wide into turn 3. Here we go. Renner squeezes Walker into the wall. You got 10, 12 cars under a blanket all right here on your screen. Selby drops down low. Wolsifer's down there. Zachary King in the middle. Ray Walker up on the top side. This is the best racing you could have asked for to end this season. I'm sad. I'm sad we're going to Las Vegas. I know Las Vegas is a good track too, but I'm sad we're going to Las Vegas over Homestead next season for the finale. This is amazing racing. On board now with Gray Walker as he runs in behind Nick Renner and Jared Hughes. You see Camper painting the outside wall up front. And I think these guys, they come into stage 3 with a different plan. It seems like everybody's saving a little bit, trying to go through the motions a little bit and hang on for the end of the stage. Whereas in stages 1 and 2, everybody was right on the wheel from the get-go. Why do I say that? Well, because Sutherland is still in the top 3, and we know he's going to save the front. We know he can save and drive back to the front. So if these guys are still behind him, they must also be saving. Renner trying to muscle his way through the field. He's back up to 5th. He gets ahead of Stallings, right to the back end of Borbell. .90 laps to go. Camper has driven up to Houseman. On board with Dakota Camper. There's Houseman off the windshield. Look at how close they get. And down the backstretch, Camper makes a move. Houseman's going to give it to him. Camper takes over the race lead. Dakota Camper back out front in Florida. Dakota Camper went to victory lane the last time we raced in Florida. That was at Daytona earlier this season. Now here in the final race of the season. Back out front, this time in Miami. Over Mason Houseman, his teammate Isaiah Sutherland, Nick Renner, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Borbell, and so many others. Look at Gray Walker up here. Gray wide off the corner, Gray Walker up top. Dustin Stallings in the middle. That was Matthew Catania down low. Borbell in that 2, painting the white line right behind his teammate Buzzio, who gets loose off the corner. That backs them both up. Walker goes by. Walker now up to 5th position. Stallings through to 6th. Buzzio 7th. Catania right behind. Here comes Stallings with a run. He pulls to the inside of Gray Walker and makes a move. Gray Walker will be a rookie no more in the BRB Racing League after this season. He's carried those rookie stripes all season long, along with Coulter Clark, who just went way to the inside. And these Accelerate drivers have made themselves veterans of the league. They have taken over in ways. They're a satellite team to Maverick Motorsports, and it has shown. Gray Walker showing a lot of speed here in the final race of the season. Up to 4th position. This is what you want to see from a driver who squeaked his way. I don't want to say squeaked his way. He made the chase with a ton of points. Stayed consistent all season long. Found his way into the chase. I won't even say squeaked by. That's not accurate. He did not squeak by at all. I believe he was 6th or 7th in the regular season point standings. Stays around there now. But a lot of fun to watch Gray Walker get better and better this season. Now into the top 4 here at Miami. And looking for more.
And don't look now, though. Sutherland to the inside. Oh, big block right there. Matthew Catania had to back out. He had a big wiggle. He got a little bit of contact from Dustin Stallings, too. Now they're 3 wide. Johnny Wood Jr. on the outside. Buzzio on the outside now rolling. Oh, my goodness. That could have been way worse than it was.
A lot of these things have been, it's been that way this entire run. To get this run going and begin stage 3 as Buzzio's in the wall. Here goes King on by in the middle. That held up Hughes. Next Level Racing is kind of falling apart here at the beginning of the stage. Corbell down to 10th. Buzzio out of the top 10. Hughes down to 15th. Just craziness throughout the entire order. I mean, this is absolutely bonkers. Here comes the 25. He's up to 3rd.
Tanya down to the inside now of Isaiah Sutherland. Big move right there. Gets the pass done. Gets a little loose. Gets sideways. Stays in front of the 24. Still the focus on Gray Walker. Now on the back bumper of Nick Renner. Down the front straightaway they go.
And look at Johnny Wood
Renner
Jr.
takes a look low.
We had all but written Johnny Wood Jr. out of this race with damage earlier in this day. He is up into the top 5 and running well. He might be a little bit handicapped right now, but that's okay. I mean, you can overcome a little bit of damage if you got the driver chops to do it, and so far he does.
We rode out Adam Buzzio, and he's sitting 11th right now. The possibilities are endless for how this race could go for a number of these drivers, and we've got just over 80 laps to go, about 83 to go last time by the line there, so time's a ticking, time's a wasting. But certainly they've got time aplenty.
Whoa, 14.
Zachary Maddox way down to the bottom once again. Oh my goodness. Good catch there by that driver. Almost makes some contact with Selby through the corner. But he gets it gathered up and he's rolling.
Johnny Wood Jr. continues to run the top of the racetrack. Pulls up to the back end of Catania, who pulls up to the back end and inside of Gray Walker. Renner went back by the 25 of Walker, but Walker hanging on to a top 5 for now. Charges off of turn 2, clears the 18 back. Zachary King into the top 10, he's 8th.
Trying to go for 7th on Isaiah Sutherland right in front of him. Using that high line momentum, Johnny Wood Jr. having a little trouble keeping that car off the wall. Right on board with Zach King, and Sutherland's going on by that 75 car. Big send into the corner by Zach King. He's going to try to split them both. Maybe go 3 wide here. Sutherland has a bit more of an advantage there. Going to try to get clear of Johnny Wood Jr. He will, as King pulls up right in front of Jared Hughes. Now laying into that back bumper down the back straightaway.
To go up the stripe. Here we go for 79 laps remaining. Here comes Mason Houseman. He's just going to have to race into the stripe with help from Nicholas Renner.
Side by side for the race lead. And Houseman's going to get the advantage over Dakota Camper as Renner takes a look now to the inside. Side by side into turns 3 and 4. Give the nose in front to Renner through center. Is he going to get it off the corner? And he will. He'll get clear. Looking at it from the onboard of Gray Walker sitting in the 4th spot.
An attempt to go back by the 11 from the 3 here. Camper looking good. But Renner's going to have him this time, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't tell. They almost made contact off the turn 2. But Renner gets clear of the 3 for now. That brings Trey Walker into it.
We saw Adam Buzzio do a 3-wide split going into turn number 4. He's still 3 wide back there, trying to get himself back inside the top 10. Doorbell's back there with him. We were right on board with Sutherland making a move on Trey Walker. Sutherland trying to roll on by that 25. Still side by side. 3 and 4. Side by side for second now too. Renner and Camper once again. Fights all over this racetrack, Andrew. It's so hard to keep track of it all. You see there's fights going on, a little bit out of camera shot back there. Everything just trying to unfold. I'm also hearing that Johnny Wood Jr. tried to kiss a palm tree.
Johnny Wood Jr. falling back in this race. He's down to 12th position. But he carries on, racing now with Adam Buzzio. In the top 10, though, Camper on the outside of Sutherland. Sutherland is pulled back up. This is earlier in the run for Sutherland. He must be wanting to take control of this race. This is much earlier in the run than we saw him come back up last time.
Honestly, I say if you got the tires, go for it. Most of these guys have only used, what, 2 or 3 of their 6 sets? If a caution comes out late in the race, you've got the sets left over. 3 wide, Sutherland down to the bottom. Takes advantage of getting by Renner. Still trying to hold off Catania, but I mean, yes, obviously expect the race to run long here, but if you've got the tires, it can't hurt to be a little aggressive, you know what I mean?
Camper pulls to the inside of Mason Houseman. Speaking of aggressive, that's an aggressive move for the race lead. And Camper goes right on by the 78, now tracks up the racetrack. Jared Hughes is pulled up here. He is racing on the outside of a 3-wide scenario. Houseman falls back to Sutherland. They are all over the place. Catania way down low. He's going to make a charge.
Like once you get in that clean air, that car is just beautiful. And once you're in the dirty air, it's nothing but a dogfight. Everyone who's taken the lead has been able to just pull that car out and stretch that lead over such a good distance. But I don't know, once one car gets through everything and reels them back in, it's back to fighting.
Shout out Nicholas Renner. He's the only driver in the top 10 right now, not a part of this season's chase. He ran part-time, is going for the full-time campaign next season, in season number 4. And we'll see what the future holds from there. But he is up front and battling with these guys for a race win, potentially in about 70 more laps. And this is where the attrition sets in, Zach, right at lap 134. That would be a traditional 200-mile race here. That'd be a NASCAR Truck Series race length. That would be something we would usually expect. Half of 267, so that's half of a 400-mile race. That's what we would usually expect for these guys, this style of race here on this Tuesday evening. That's coming up quick. What isn't coming up quick is lap 200. That makes it a 300-mile race, an NASCAR Xfinity race length. That is an extra bit of animal. These guys have got to just set in and get with the attrition factor and buckle up. It's going to be a long 100 miles here once we cross over that 200-mile mark.
And I've been listening to the driver scanner. There's a couple of drivers right now that are saying that this race feels pretty long compared to the other races that have happened this season. So I do agree with your sentiment, Andrew. This is shaping up to be one of their longer races throughout the season. And I think maybe, just maybe, these guys are going to need to buckle down or buckle in for a little bit longer. We're nearing the completion of this race. About 70 laps to go now. 69 at the line. Camper, oh boy.
Camper rode the outside wall there in 3 and 4, falls back to 4th position from 2nd. And
familiar faces
out of the race lead fight. That brings Sutherland and Catania into the top 3. And here comes Sutherland racing for the race lead with Houseman. A couple of cars in the wall in the background. We stay up front for the race lead.
2 drivers that we have seen fighting for the lead more times than any other this season overall. Isaiah Sutherland and Mason Houseman. And Sutherland's going to make quick work of Houseman, take the race lead by almost 0.2 of a second. The tire saving is paying dividends from the looks of it, as he is getting himself back up in charge of this race, trying to make sure that Houseman can't break that record. I don't know what it is, Andrew. I see it time and time again. When a driver is so close to accomplishing something big, whether it be breaking a record, winning a championship, getting an all-time win record, something along those lines, they seem to stagnate and hit a bit of a wall and not be able to get those cars into victory lane. And Mason Houseman is no stranger to this. He's been winless the last couple of races in this chase. He swept the first couple of races. Now he's trying to break the record that he has all but tied. Well, he's come up a few positions short the last few. Last week he lost out to Brendan Maddox. Now he might lose out to Isaiah Sutherland before he goes part-time.
Right, Zach. I don't know what to make of that. He's going to have a few races before he goes to training where he can run and try and get one of those wins, but I don't really know what to make of that for him. It is, as you say, something we see with athletes in sports trying to hit a milestone number. It's like that, the crest of the mountain that they just can't quite get over. For some reason, this 14th win has been eluding him these last couple of weeks. Talladega and Rockingham. But there's still so much longer to go in this league story. We don't know exactly what's upcoming, other than the fact that opening the season in May at Daytona, I believe on May 6th, if that date sounds right. So plenty of time between now and then a whole bunch of new stories will unfold there in season number 4 as Catania gets 3 off the second corner. There's time for Houseman. Certainly no time to panic. He can stay tied if he needs to. But of course, he would like to get that record-breaking win.
Speaking of records, I'm looking through the statistics that we have for this season, and I feel like these are cool things to cover as we roll through this final race of the season, riding on board with Houseman at the moment. All-time starts in the league. Jared Hughes and Stephen Borbell, Evan Patinko, and Carl Pooler are all tied for first with Adam Buzzio. It's a 4-way tie for first with Adam Buzzio second with 40 starts. So he's only behind all 4 of those drivers by 1 spot. Now I'm trying to see who actually has the most starts so far this season to see where we can figure out who might have that record. So stand by with that one for a minute. Still doing my research.
Well, the record for most starts is all races. That's Patinko and that company. They've run all races as Catania gets way free, slides, and hangs on to the race car. Catania going to fall back now to 10th position behind Brendan Maddox and just ahead of Richard Wolsifer. Houseman stays in the back end of Sutherland. This is going to be a spirited battle for the race win. Throw in Camper, throw in Stallings. Borbell even in the top 5. And Borbell's been really good on the long run. We spoke with him after stage 2. He wanted a long run to the end. So far, we're getting that. But still 60 laps to go. When we come back around, it'll be 61. A long time to race here still as these guys bobble off the corner. And one more pit stop to make as well. That should be a straight up gas and go 4-tire stop. It shouldn't be anything spectacular. It won't be anything groundbreaking or earth-shattering. But it will be something to pay attention to as these guys come down to the pit lane here shortly. As here comes a pass from Dakota Camper. This is for second on Mason Houseman.
Houseman continues to drop back further and further as this race goes on. Now going down to 3rd place. And they do have a little bit of an update on that statistic. All 5 of these drivers have started every single race this season, so the statistic stays the same. with Borbell, Hughes, Patinko, and Pooler all in a 4-way tie for most starts all time, and Buzzio still trailing all of them by 1. So it's nice.
Spin, Catania in the wall, or spin the wall is one more. Jensen spinning, and this long run comes to a close. This is going to complicate things for stage 3.
They should all still need to make a pit stop, if I'm not mistaken. There should be one more stop for every single one of them.
For now, we'll just watch Catania get free here off the corner, cut the racetrack. Got free again, spun around, got Wolsifer, got Buzzio and Jensen. And Catania just a little bit out of control there at the back end of this run. Drove the tires off the race car. This is the longest stretch green flag racing so far. And boy, did it show there.
Saw Renner get loose by himself as well. He had a little moment off of turn number 2.
He was racing with Selby, but look at Catania. Man, just trying to hang on to that race car, and then up into Wolsifer. That puts Gray in the wall, and then Buzzio and Jensen around.
You would have thought when Wolsifer tapped him, he would have spun further back down, but Buzzio with nowhere to go. Riding on board with Jensen from the roof cam. See Catania first in line on the bottom, about 3 cars up. There's the wiggle, there's the bobble, there's the spin. Oh, Jensen, nowhere to go, just piles right in.
Will bring us to pit stops here unfolding before our very eyes. Pit stops underway and coming to a close. Houseman trying to get the race off pit lane, but it's going to belong to Isaiah Sutherland, then Houseman, Camper, Borbell, and Stallings. It holds about steady as it was. And that is a big time win off the pit lane for Isaiah Sutherland. This is going to be an interesting run now to the end. Do these guys split it up halfway? Do they run as far as they can on fuel in case of a caution? There's a couple of options now for these guys as far as what they can do the rest of the way through this race if it goes green all the way. And that's a big if.
I'm betting on a split. I think that gives you a reasonable amount of time to get tires on the car. Not to mention, hello, frog in my throat, as one potential strategy call that could be done, just 2 right side tires. That's something that could potentially contribute to a variety of different things when it comes to strategy overall. And I'm hearing that Adam Buzzio has too much damage. He's out of the race. That's not a way you want to end your race.
I just saw a moment between Selby and Maddox. This is going to be one to look at real quick. Coming to the choose. Watch Selby lock it down and then swerve way high. That puts Maddox in the wall.
That's a late choose.
Really late. And he comes up from behind here. I mean, you've got to be way more mindful of this. Comes charging up and then locks it down and swerves up at the last second. Thankfully, I don't think Zachary Maddox took too much damage out of that, if any. But you got to be way more careful about it. That could have been somebody's race right there.
That could have been a lot more damage for both cars. But the drivers have chosen. And Selby, after picking the top, will restart inside the top 10 in that 10th spot. He's got Maddox right behind him after that cone, but it's up front. Sutherland, Houseman, Camper, Borbell, Stallings, and Renner, your top 6. Pace cars off. Let's get ready to roll again.
56 laps to go. Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Yes, we're racing again in Miami. Renner free. He's put Maddox in the wall. They're going to crash.
Big stack up behind.
No caution.
Zach Maddox got a piece of that as well. Look at the damage on that number 8. That is a big, heavy hit right there.
That's not going to sit well in that Maverick Motorsports camp.
I don't think it will. 2 drivers involved in that one.
And no caution to show for it.
Well, at least you still got 2 Maverick Motorsport cars up towards the front. Houseman in 2nd, Stallings in 4th. So they still got something to show for. Johnny Wood Jr. up on the outside line. He's trying to go around Dustin Stallings. And now Mason Houseman looking down to the bottom, taking the race lead away. Look at Johnny Wood Jr. Big send on that outside line.
I think Sutherland's going to be okay with that, letting the 78 go for right now. A long race still left to run. These guys have got time to get back up there. They're 3 wide for third. Johnny Wood Jr., Stephen Borbell, Dustin Stallings, your 3 that are 3 wide. Wood up top, Borbell in the middle, Stallings down low, Hughes and Camper right behind. And Johnny Wood Jr.'s got the run off the corner. Your big 3 are back out front, just the way they belong.
The big 3 that we made a mention of early on in this season. Mason Houseman, Isaiah Sutherland, Johnny Wood Jr. They've been the 3 cars that have been in it for the championship all season long. Brandon Maddox had a showing just not too long ago at Rockingham. Got himself his first win on the season. Broke the practice race curse, as everyone likes to refer to it as. But it's these 3 drivers right here that have been some of the most consistent all season long. They've done such a heck of a job. But right now it's Mason Houseman in control. The champion in control of the race as well, looking for a record-breaking 14th career win in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series League. He's doing all he can to make it happen, but like you said earlier on, Andrew, don't count out Sutherland with that tire saving he's been doing.
And Johnny Wood Jr. back in this race. You never know what's going to come out of that 75 car.
Ooh,
he's going to dive to the inside as Houseman chokes up. Here goes Johnny Wood Jr. from crashed earlier in the day to leading in Miami. Lap 149, and the 75 car is back out front in the BRB Racing League. Houseman to second, Sutherland to third, Stallings, Borbell right there. Your top 5 under a blanket. Zachary King runs 6th. And Zach King is on old tires, it looks like. He took only 4.7 seconds in the pit box in that last stop.
Sorry,
I need you to check that, because that could be if he got out and got back in, it would have reset the timer, so I need you to check that. And that would be a huge story.
Checking right now.
If he climbed out of the car in the sim and got back in, it would reset the timer. But I gotta believe he took tires.
Checking now on the Zach King cam to see if he did take
As they're
tires
3
or not.
wide for the race lead, your big 3 abreast. That holds up Sutherland. Houseman and Wood, they fight down the front stretch. 50 now, 49 laps to go. Once again, the best racing we've seen all season right here in Miami.
Well, I'll be. It's a gas and go for Zach King.
Unbelievable what he's doing on worn out tires right now. Trying to save a set. He took a set earlier. As we go battling here in the top 3, Houseman, Sutherland, and Borbell. Zachary King up to 5th now as he goes by Johnny Wood Jr. On board, Zachary King.
Johnny Wood Jr. poking his nose in front.
They're side by side up ahead for the race lead. Sutherland down low, Houseman up top. There's the look from the leader, looking back at Sutherland.
Houseman's doing a good job of hanging on to that.
Had to jump out of the gas there, though.
Line.
That brings Sutherland right back to him and back to the inside here in 3 and 4. Borbell goes down there with him. Johnny Wood way up top. Zachary King, I still can't believe this right now. Running in 5th place on old tires. Something to be said about old rubber, apparently. Stallings to the inside of Borbell.
He's moving forward too, Andrew. He's
Oh,
trying.
he stepped out.
Big
Renner goes
wiggle.
by.
Johnny Wood Jr. goes on by along the outside line. That's going to bring Jared Hughes back into the mix. Wolfenfer, Matthew Selby not too far behind. Now back to the bottom line for most of them. Johnny Wood Jr. continues to rip that top line. And I believe, what do they call it in dirt racing? Ripping the lip on the top line of that racetrack. There's no real lip, though, as they like to refer to it in asphalt racing. So the Larson line, I will stand by that sentiment. I will continue to call it the Larson line because I am part of the newer style generation, and I wasn't around when Richard Petty was racing. There's no Petty line in my book. There's the Larson line. Sorry, Rev.
Oh, that was almost contact. Zachary King with Wolfsburg on the right side of the screen. We continue on. Inside now of 50 laps to go. Inside of 45 even. Getting closer to 40 to go. Laps are ticking off one by one. Richard Wolfsburg, Jared Hughes, they do battle here. We've lived up front for the most part, but let's go back through the field a little bit. Let's visit the guys who are on the back end of the lead lap, including Matthew Catania here in the 21st spot. And we'll work our way forward. So Matthew Catania runs 21st. Brendan Maddox runs 20th. Opposite sides of the racetrack right now. You see the damage from the 8 car, of course, from that incident with Nicholas Renner. He's trying to rebound as he chases down Coulter Clark, who's just ahead. Keep moving up through the field. Carl Pooler at 18th. Zachary Maddox just ahead in 17th. Dakota Bly runs 16th. Most popular driver there. Evan Batinko, teammate to him, runs in the 15th spot. And for Redacted Motorsports, a brand new rebrand of Full Send Racing. They'll be changing over the offseason. Gray Walker runs in 14th spot, just ahead of Batinko. Robert Moyer Jr., another career day for him. He runs 13th spot. Cole Lewis, a very quiet 12th position so far. He runs just behind the top 10. Dakota Camper runs in 11th. We've seen him battle for the race lead and lead 17 laps so far. Matthew Selby, he runs 10th. Zachary King, 9th. And then you get to Jared Hughes, battling for the 8th spot with Zachary King. And King will lose the spot. Hughes will move forward. And that takes you through the back end of the field, right back up to everybody we've been talking about the whole night. Up front of this field, Richard Wolfsburg is moving forward. He's on some, the same 4 tires as basically everybody else. He's just abusing those 4 Goodyear rubbers and trying to move forward.
Ooh. Out of line right there.
It's Buzzio down there to 5.
It's Adam Buzzio down there. Trying to move out of the way from the leaders. I think Stallings either got loose or was just trying to catch a draft or something because he showed up right behind the back bumper of that number 5 car. But Adam Buzzio is just out on the racetrack trying to turn some laps. Currently, as they cross the line, Adam Buzzio is sitting about 3 laps down in the 24th spot. Jensen and Fritz are the ones that are still 1 lap down. They're the ones that are eligible for the free pass. As Jared Hughes has a moment there.
Yeah, Hughes slow off the corner. Here comes Camper to go by Johnny Wood Jr. Missed the battle right around the back end of the top 10. Orbell and Stallings, they're side by side. Here they are. They have fallen back now. The top 2 who stay about 2 to 3 tenths apart.
Big separation from first and second down to the rest of the field. Stallings a good 1.7 seconds behind Houseman. Here you see the leaders relative to 3rd place. Not much that can be done about it right now, Andrew, with just how good Sutherland and Houseman have been all night long. They've just worked themselves out further and further. There's no question about it that it's probably going to come down to one of those 2 should the green flag runs exist. But remember, the one thing we need to consider is the pit stops that are coming up. You said it yourself. You don't know whether it's going to be better to split it halfway or just run it out as Sutherland takes a look down to the inside of Houseman. I would think with how good Sutherland's been on this tire-saving momentum that he would elect to pick 2 right-side tires should we make a green flag pit stop here. And I still feel like right-side tires are just going to be the move, Andrew, with just how many laps you have left to go. It just makes the most sense. Gas it up, right side's on it, stick her back out there for about 40 laps. Not even 40 laps. What? It's split halfway. It would be
About 30.
Yeah, just about.
We'll see what these drivers opt to do. So far, Sutherland now leads over Houseman. He charges back up at the right time and gets ahead of the 78 car. I feel like he's got to be a favorite for driver of the day, which we got to start talking about here, Zach, as we see a pit stop maybe out of Johnny Wood Jr. He is into the pit lane, although he has towed to the pit lane. Problems with the 75.
What? This was unexpected.
Oh,
I did not have this on my Homestead bingo card.
This is a vicious impact. I saw a preview of it. Here we go. Loose off of turn 4, trying to come into pit.
The apron.
And he's going to end up hitting the pit attenuator.
Oh, no. And no caution.
This is why you practice pitting. Johnny Wood Jr. trying to pit off of turn 4. Boom. Barrels.
Poor Johnny. I think he was just trying to go for a short pit too.
And immediately you hear the crunch of the engine letting go. If you've been on iRacing for any length of time, you probably know that sound and probably hate that sound. That always signifies that you're done for the day.
Well, Adam Buzzio is also elected to park his machine for the day. So Johnny Wood Jr. and Adam Buzzio out of the race at about the same point in time. Got a couple of dropouts through this race, Andrew. A few drivers that have not been able to get themselves to the finish. Patrick Hernandez, Jason Bottoms is 100 laps down. Braxton Skinner is out of the race as well. Cody Dorsey, Josh Anderson, Cole Younger, Sam Dyer is still on the racetrack, but he is 11 laps down. He'll be able to pass Adam Buzzio and Johnny Wood Jr. by the end of this thing. But Coulter Clark, Scott Fritz, and Eric Jensen are the only other drivers that are sitting laps down. And we've got 19 cars still on the lead lap.
A big thank you to partners here of the series, the Buttkicker, the leader in haptics, Sundance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza, all doing so much for us here at Pit Stop TV and the BRB Racing League, and of course those helping us here at the channel. Whiplash Sim Cams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. I said it earlier, I'll say it again, my lock for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day, has to be that Stage 1 yellow for Isaiah Sutherland. I know he's been strong late in the run, but I just don't know that he would have won that battle straight up against Mason Houseman. I feel like the 78 still had the upper hand, and I'm going to say that's my Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day so far. We haven't seen much luckiness happen. It's been a lot of unluckiness around the field. Looking for something lucky here in the back end of the race. Maybe we can change our minds. Pit stop, Zach King down to the pit lane.
This is where the split's starting to come into play.
Right at 30 to go. He's in alongside Zachary Maddox.
So the two Zachs down to pit road.
Although Zachary Maddox has been here for a little while. He's got some damage.
Oh boy. Oh, that's a big amount of damage on the front of that car. I think that was a lot more than what he had from that initial incident. See it getting buffed out there.
Meanwhile, out front, these four stay in control. When do they pit? Do they run it out? Do they pit a little bit early? So far, they keep on going past 30 to go.
If I was Sutherland, I'd run it out. If I was Houseman, I would do opposite of the leader and short pit. Get the advantage now. Let him work back to you. Do what the leader doesn't. You got to try to upset him in some way, shape, or form. As Dustin Stallings is coming to the mix. There you see Brendan Maddox getting ready to go a lap down. You see Morbell's working himself back up to the leaders as well. I think everyone's starting to get a bit better of a handle on Isaiah Sutherland's tire saving because they've been hanging with him a lot longer than they have at any point in time during the race. And you know, as this race continues to roll, the top four now under a blanket, and it's 3 seconds back to Renner.
The top four have driven away from the rest of the field. Renner being the rest at this point. Renner, Selby, and others. Hughes, Wolsifer, Camper, and they all battle. For the most part, it's spread out. The closest fight is right here, Borbell and Houseman. Houseman headed the wrong direction on this long run. And yes, as you mentioned, there is the 8 car about to go a lap down. Zach, I was going to try and wait out pit stops, but we're getting too close to the end of the race here. We've got to do it. NARL driver of the day conversation. I'm going to go first for once, and I'm going to straight up pick the guy on your screen. It's going to be the 24.
Driver of the day for me, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with Nick Renner. He's been running inside the top 5. He's been having a strong day. He's pretty far off the leader right now, but hey, he's been trying to lead laps as well. He's been inside the top 3. I think he's a solid Texas driver today.
And I'm going to go a little bit out of the ordinary here. So you pick Renner. We'll get him on screen here for a second. There's Renner in 6th. He's just lost that spot to Matthew Selby. I'm going to go Stephen Borbell. And why? Well, the 2 car was 2nd in stage number 2. Started 3rd, has been up front just about all race long, only as low as 14th spot. As there's a near miss for Isaiah Sutherland pitting off of turn number 4. That was very close, but here we go. Pit stops are underway. Make your second driver of the day pick.
That's a Code Brown moment right there. That is a very big Code Brown moment right there. You know what, Andrew? As we roll through these driver of the day picks, it's going to take a minute to roll on through, but I'm going to give my second pick to our race control Rev and let him make a pick for driver of the day, if that's okay.
Well, he has also chosen Borbell.
Oh. Oh, man.
Well, you know what? I'll let that pick stand. I'll pick somebody else, and I'm going to go with Dustin Stallings.
There you go. That's a good pick, too.
Pit stop's underway. You see him happening on your screen. The driver vote is now live. Renner, Houseman, Stallings all back up off the pit lane. Where are they going to blend here in relation to the 24 car? The 24 should have just a bit of an edge. And yes, sure enough, there goes the 24 of Sutherland right on by all of them. He's going to make the pass and go by with a big, hefty race lead now down to about 20 laps to go. This is a dream scenario for the 24 car. This is why I wanted to lock him in as my pick for driver of the day.
Well, Borbell's still on the racetrack. Sutherland has pretty much given himself a chance to be back on the lead lap. The first car 1 lap down at the moment is Stallings. And I don't know, Andrew. I don't necessarily agree with Borbell staying out on the racetrack this long. I think with pit stops already underway, you've got to pit now. And I know I'm probably being a little bit contradictory here because I stated early on that it would be probably beneficial for some of these guys like Houseman to pit early, jump Sutherland over the course of the race with a tire advantage, but this is a bit of the opposite. This is a driver willingly staying out on the racetrack to gain an advantage rather than pitting sooner. So it creates a different kind of scenario when it comes to the chase style that we have here. And I think as the race goes on, you see Sutherland obviously pulling away. It's going to create problems for Borbell, and he's going to lose further ground as the race goes on.
Garrett Hughes goes fastest. A handful of cars still on the racetrack. Those will be Borbell, Selby, Wolsifer, Camper, Moyer, Patinko, Walker, Bly, and Pooler. Isaiah Sutherland is up to 10th spot right now and chasing down Carl Pooler. Dustin Stallings is effectively 2nd for when this thing wraps back around and cycles back out. As you see the 0 packs there up underneath the 2 car Borbell. I got the 2 a little bit free, and the 2 will let the 0 go by. That puts Stallings back on the lead lap. Houseman effectively is 3rd. Fritz effectively, well, hasn't pitted yet, so actually he's not going to be 4th. Renner effectively is 4th as they run. And by effectively, what do I mean there? What I'm saying is effectively after the pit cycle out, after everybody has pitted, they will effectively be running in that position. So while they're 10th, 11th, 12th on the racetrack right now, when this thing cycles all the way out, when everybody has made their pit stop, because these guys are staying out longer on older tires, they're going to be further back behind. So effectively, the 24 is going to be first, as here comes Borbell to the pit lane. Effectively, the 24 is going to be first. The 0 will be second, the 78 will be third, and the 11 will be fourth. From there on back, it looks like Jared Hughes, Zach King, and others. But then you'll get to where these guys mix up a little bit after their pit stops with some different tire strategies and such. But here's Borbell into the pit lane finally with 17 to go. Matthew Selby, we await his trip down to the pit lane. He will stay out for now and get a couple of laps led here, as that puts Hughes back on the lead lap. These are some of Selby's first laps led in the BRB Racing League. They come at his final start of season number 3, the final race of season number 3.
Hey, at least he's out here leading laps.
Absolutely, and I gotta say, Zach, I'd be on the pit lane a long time ago. I'm with you. I don't like these guys staying out this long.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense right now. I think strategy-wise, it would have been great for them to pit early and try to jump guys, but now it's just getting dragged on too long.
The only saving grace would be a caution, which is close to happening here between Buttkicker and Moyer. They sort it out now. Walker and Bly, they battle. Walker blinking, Bly right behind. Colter Clark and Cole Lewis go by on the outside. And Borbell exited right behind Mason Houseman. Let's see if that tire advantage is going to be enough for Stephen Borbell. He's got 6 lap better tires. Is that going to be worth anything?
I don't see it panning to be anything more than just a couple of spots here. The gap is huge right now. Stallings is the closest to Sutherland right now, and he's about 2.2 seconds back. About 2 seconds, realistically speaking. See here, Houseman moving on by Carl Pooler. He's still another 4 seconds back from Isaiah Sutherland. So the top 4 really spread out now. I think Stallings is closing in just a little bit on Isaiah Sutherland, but still not even that much to make too much of a difference. 14 laps to go. I think the big thing here would be a caution to bring these guys close back together.
Riding on board with Stephen Borbell, watching the 78 out the windshield. It's still Sutherland out front by 1.5 seconds and gaining over Stallings. Then Houseman, Borbell, Pooler. Actually, Pooler has not yet pitted, so then Renner. I don't know, Borbell might have something here. It's not going to be race winning material, but he might have something at least for Houseman.
He might.
We have a long way to go for the race lead. Right now, he's about 4 seconds back of Isaiah Sutherland for the race lead. What will be the race lead? I think the way cautions have fell all night long, a lot of these guys that are still on the racetrack just expected more yellows. Expected 1 or 2 more to come out. And they made their bed, they're lying in it now. I can't blame them because we expected more cautions to come out too.
I don't really think.
Whoa!
Oh boy! Ah, it's so close. Oh my goodness! I don't think it was wrong to assume there would be more cautions, considering what we had last week at Rockingham. There was a few more cautions than we really expected over the course of that race, but you know, when you have a track like Homestead, it's easy to get spread out. It's easy to not really have too many incidents going on. See on the graphic right there, we've had 9 cautions throughout, 26 laps, 25 lead changes over the course of the race. 9 cautions is not really a heck of a lot of cautions here. Count 2 of those for the stage, and there's only been 7 cautions.
Well, one of those stage cautions came out for cause. That was the stage 1 yellow. That would have been a yellow regardless. So we'll say 8 cautions for cause, 1 for the stage at the end of stage 2. You're right though, not a huge number, and that's what we like to see. as Sutherland has gone by Walker and Bly. He's now into 6th overall and climbing through the field. Pit stops are due any time now for those guys who stayed out at this point. There's Selby, who leads this race. Camper running right behind in 3rd. Now, Zach, I'm starting to get a little bit curious. The fuel number we were given was about 50 laps. 48 to 51 or 52. These guys haven't hit 50 yet. Do you think they're saving? Did you go to the end?
I have no clue at this point. Do not ask me to do math. It's the last race of the season. This is the one race that I don't want to do math.
Let's ride on board with Selby. There's no clutch or anything, so I don't think he's saving. But I heard another car shutting off.
Maybe he's for a caution. What about Camper? Is Camper saying caution? Caution on the speedway!
You're kidding me.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, 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 no. This changes everything. Brendan Maddox, he's 4 laps down at the moment. That car's spinning out. Oh no. This changes the whole complexity of the race. See the front end of that car still pretty banged up. He's crab walking too. Oh boy. Oh boy. Had Isaiah Sutherland running right behind him. This is coming down the front straightaway. The spin should be happening here in turn 2. Sutherland goes to the bottom. Oh, did Sutherland push up into Maddox there and shake him loose, or did Maddox just pinch him down? Either way, if you're 4 laps down, I think it's high time that you make a lot of room there for the lap car, or for the lead lap car. Oh my lord.
Yeah, you know, this is an interesting one, and I think it's going to go back on the 8 car. This is going to change things up for sure.
Now, if race control puts this on Sutherland, that could change how this race plays out. I would assume that with Maddox being the lap car, that this would fall onto the 8 car for being responsible for the yellow. I don't know, man. This is a tough call. I would not want to be in Rev's position for this one.
So we can see from here. So you see the 24 move up quick. He's got a lane there, and the 8 keeps coming down. The 24, there was some net code. I think without the net code, the 24 shoots the gap and gets by. But that's just a bad situation. I think with the blue flag being shown to you by iRacing, you've got to give more room. And this changes the entire race. Some cars staying out, some cars have pitted. Most of the field is pitted. Borbell leads. Hughes is going to be second. And then it's Sutherland. He's going to choose top. You see the lap car of Tanya being pulled back. Oh boy, Zach. Well, how did we get here this season?
I don't know, man.
Here's a look at the schedule and see exactly how we got here to April 1st. From Atlanta way back on November 12th, the day after Veterans Day, through Phoenix, Dover, Kansas, Bristol, Austria, Nashville, Chicagoland, and Pocono. And then Darlington, Daytona, IRP, and Michigan. That was the regular season. The chase got kicked off on March 4th, a month ago, at St. Louis. We carried on through Watkins Glen and Talladega, Rockingham and Miami. It only took 4 races in the chase for Mason Houseman to lock down this championship. Starting the race tonight, he clinched it. Now we've got 5 final laps in this season to decide who will be the 18th race winner. The Buttkicker 300 is back underway at Miami. We saw old tires be good earlier. That was with Zachary King. What can these old tires do out front now? Selby pushes up. These guys
big
pushing the
slip
cold
up.
tires did not do well. That's going to help the 2 in the 98 who stayed out.
Borbell now inches further ahead, trying to put that car into victory lane. Sutherland is clear of Selby now. He's got a sight set on the 2 cars in front of him. 4 laps to go as they click by the flag stand. They're trying to pull away from Sutherland, see what they can do. Look at Wolsifer all the way down to the bottom. Actually, that wasn't Wolsifer, that was Stallings. Big move by Dustin Stallings. He's next to
loose.
Isaiah Sutherland. Oh,
Up the
no,
racetrack.
catch it.
Everybody hang on to it here. Camper way down low. He goes by. Oh my gosh, the craziness is unfolding here. It'll be 3 laps to go, this time by at Miami. There goes Borbell, looking for his first win of the season. We nominated him for driver of the day, and he might be earning his votes right now. This last little run to the end. Cars in the wall, everybody pushing the issue.
So Wolsifer jumped right up in front of Isaiah Sutherland there. That was a huge move to hold off that 24 car. But as they roll through 3 and 4, Andrew, it's going to be popsicle sticks in the air for Stephen Borbell in that 2 car. He had a rough ride at Talladega. He had another rough ride at Rockingham. Now, after 2 bad races, called 2 the magic number. But it's the 3rd race now that he is leading. But don't look now. Here comes Richard Wolsifer. He's cleared Jared Hughes. He's trying to get up there and challenge that 2 car. Can Wolsifer turn his season around with a win? Let's see how it goes here. Into 3 and 4, Andrew. It's going to be the white flag this time by, presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. Here we go for the finish.
Richard Wolsifer trying to win a race this season and not be last in the chase. Chasing down Stephen Borbell. The gap on the bottom right of your screen now is the Whiplash SimCam's white flag is officially out. Just about a mile left for these guys. Wolsifer's pulling on Borbell. This is going to be an outright classic finish down in turns 3 and 4. Borbell goes low. Wolsifer goes low. Can the 56 do anything? The answer is going to be no. It's going to be all Stephen Borbell off of turn number 4 into the checkers. In Season 3, he is a race winner. The Buttkicker 300 belongs to Stephen Borbell.
And they're wrecking behind him, coming across the line. Walker and Sutherland. Oh, there's a big smash up at the checkered flag. Oh my goodness. What a run that was to the end, though. Oh my goodness. Stephen Borbell. He gets the win. And quite ironically, I will say too, Richard Wolsifer, the second that you said no, that he wasn't going to be able to do anything, Wolsifer also screamed no over the driver radio. So that was kind of weirdly timed there for a second. But still a heck of a win for Stephen Borbell, locking it up here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And he's going to burn it down with the Holler Podcast on that Ford Mustang. I'm sure he's happy to get himself a win after the last couple of races.
And that caps off a solid season for Next Level Motorsports. Next Level Racing, I think it is. They, I believe, take home the team championship this season. Been a lot of Maverick Motorsports burnouts, but Next Level Racing has been fantastic as well.
Wouldn't that make lock up the team championship for Next Level Racing, I would assume?
I believe
with
they locked it
Borbell
up
winning
last
this race?
week. I believe they locked it up last week.
Makes the most sense.
The Mason Houseman waiting his turn for some burnouts here at Miami. It is all Borbell on the front stretch so far. And Mason Houseman will begin his burnout now on the front straightaway. The champion here in season number 3, Mason Houseman, gets to burn it down on the front stretch at Homestead Miami Speedway. He is officially now your season 3 champion.
What a run. What a run for that 78. I'll tell you, a stand-up job by all of those Maverick Motorsport drivers.
I know how much this means to Mason. This is huge for him. Locking himself up as the only multi-champion here so far in this series. We'll see if Gavin Rogers can go back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but can go back to championship form in Season 4. But Houseman has done it in back-to-back seasons 2 and 3, and that will wrap things up for all the burnout festivities here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Oh man, let's go back. Let's take a look quickly at what happened coming to the checkers. The mayhem and the chaos. This, I believe, yes, this is the white flag lap. There you see Camper. Houseman and Sutherland were beating on each other down the backstretch. Sutherland then came up the racetrack into Gray Walker. The 24, I believe, he's going to finish 9th, but I believe he was part of this crash at the end. And right here, Walker comes up into Sutherland and turns him around, and there's the smash up at the end.
That's still a rough ride for those guys. I hate to end a race like that. That is rough for Isaiah Sutherland. He did everything right to take this win. And he ends up lucking out at the end here. There you see the white flag.
This is the last lap. I want to see what happened here on the front stretch again. So Sutherland got loose. Comes up, tries to block the 78, goes back down the racetrack, makes contact, and tries to block Walker.
Walker ended up getting put in the wall there. Houseman shifts way back up to the top line, and Walker just sends it up the racetrack.
He
there
bobbled
at the end.
big time. I don't know if you saw that, but he bobbled.
It looked like it. Oh, and Catania just comes in. Excuse me, it's Catania. Apparently, got that clarification. It is Catania. So he got a little bit of piece of there, and then everybody just piled in there at the end.
Just installing Zach King. They had a moment here at the checkered flag. Contact, crash, and other cars came in not lifting. King backed down the front stretch, and that's the chaos that ensues. Well, let's go back and talk. Well, we'll take a look first at your unofficial race results after all of this. Of course, Stephen Borbell out front with the race win. Second place, Richard Wolsifer. Matthew Selby third, Jared Hughes fourth. Mason Houseman takes the top 5 to cap off the season. Scott Fritz, Dakota Camper right behind. And then you've got Evan Patinko, Isaiah Sutherland, and Gray Walker just chipping into the top 10 as they crashed across the stripe.
Further down the running order, though, Dakota Bly ends up 11th place. I'm sure the Dakota Bly fan club is going to be happy about that one. I know there's a Jason Bottoms fan club, but we got to include everybody else, you know? Dakota Bly, most popular driver as well, ends 11th on the night. Cole Lewis, Zachary King right behind him in 12th and 13th. Dustin Stallings in 14th after he had such promising run. Robert Moyer ends up 15th on the day. Carl Pooler ends up 16th. And then the first car 1 lap down is going to be Matthew Catania. I think there might have been some sort of black flag or something after the checkered flag. He did cross the line up in the top 10, but looks like he'll end the day 17th. Eric Jensen 1 lap down as well in that 18th position. And then Zachary Maddox ends up 3 laps down with brother Brendan Maddox right behind him 5 laps down.
Finishing 21st this evening, you'll find Coulter Clark. Nick Renner finishes 22nd, unfortunately, after some complications there at the end of the race. Sam Dyer 23rd, Johnny Wood Jr. 24th, Adam Buzzio 25th, and it's just heartbreak from here. 131 laps down for Cole Younger, 134 for Josh Anderson, and more for Cody Dorsey, Braxton Skinner, and Jason Bottoms. And finally, the final 2 cars here. Patrick Hernandez out of the race first. He finishes 31st. Jamie Plord did not make the call for the start of the race. Will take credit for 32nd position this evening. Well, Stephen Borbell makes it to the checkered flag first this evening, so he'll make it to the interview booth first this evening as well. We talked to him after Stage 2, and the Holler Podcast, Ford Mustang is in victory lane. How important is this to cap off the season with a race win? How good does this feel?
Oh man, Andrew, it feels great to get the monkey off the back, especially at the track where I got my last win in season 1. So no, it feels really good. It was really nerve-wracking there. I thought I kind of made my bed staying out a little too late during that green run that we had towards the end. But once that caution came out, Gavin made a great call to stay out and that the cold tires would take too long to warm up, and he was right. So just drove it like qualifying laps those last couple laps and was able to hold on at the end.
It all pays off for you here to end the season on a high note. I believe you and Next Level Racing, you guys take the team honors. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. It's awesome to see the consistency that we have as a team. I know the win totals weren't there as they were in the past seasons for us as a team at Next Level, but we got, was it 2 out of the last 3 wins, and then just consistency throughout the whole season. So big shout out to all the drivers on the team, myself, Adam, Gavin, and Jared. We all did a great job all season long, and it paid off that way.
Pays off for you for sure. Congratulations on the race win, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon once season 4 gets going.
Yes, thank you guys so much for all your coverage this season, and a quick shout out to obviously Mason for locking up the championship. He definitely deserved it, and just a quick shout out to all my family and friends watching me. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all next season.
Stephen Borbell with the checkered flag this evening at Miami. Good way to get it done to end the season for the 2 car. And Zach, that means we're talking to Richard Walsifer in second place. I can't believe it. A comeback, not quite victory, but nearly victory for him this evening at Miami.
The pain in screaming no across the line, trying as he may to get that win. Richard, you tried your hardest. You did everything you could there at the end. You had the car to do it. You just fell maybe about a lap or 2 short, man.
Yeah, I don't even think it was a lap or 2 short. I was coming out of turn 2, and I had the run. I was catching him, and then that rear end just kind of stepped out from underneath me. If that didn't happen, I probably could have had the run going into 3. Because turn 4, even with the guys on the outside, turn 4 is where I was really gaining a lot of time. So just kind of got a little excited on the accelerator and got a little loose coming out of 2. But Steven, like, for his old tires as he had, he was doing a really good job keeping it up front.
Well, the caution certainly threw a wrench into everything that transpired towards the end of that race. You were kind of situated for a little bit further on down the running order after that caution, before that caution came out, and just threw a whole reset into everything. Do you think you made the right call with how that caution played out, or you think maybe somehow that race still would have swung more in your favor had you made a different call?
No, I think it's still, either way it worked out for me. I mean, Dakota Camper and I'm pretty sure Dakota was going to make it on gas, and I knew I was going to. We were just trying to catch Selby, which you'll talk to him in a second, but he wasn't going to make it. I was just talking to him. I mean, that caution came out. It kind of stunk. I was hoping for it to go green all the way, but restarted probably about 4th or 6th, somewhere around there. And I had the fresher tires, and I knew my short run speed could be really fast, especially on the restart. So just having fresh tires and trying to take advantage of that really put us in position to try to chase Steven down on that last lap.
Well, you managed to bring it home second. You did a fantastic job, and I think that's a great way to end off your season. Knock on wood, you've had a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? You had a lot of bad luck throughout the season, but I'm sure you're happy to bring it home second.
Yeah, I'm super excited for a second place finish. I mean, a lot of the bad luck has been a lot of my own mistakes and poor judgment, so can't completely blame it on lucks, but good to turn it around on this race, bring it home second place. I'm going to be looking forward to season 4, so we're going to come back better, stronger, and try and chase some wins and maybe even that championship next season.
There you go. Congratulations on your second place finish, and hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you win some races next season.
Yes, sir, and thank you guys for everything you do. Got to congratulate Steven on the winner of the race there. Mason for the 2-time champion now, back-to-back. Thanks for Stinsbuilt being on the car, Advanced GG, Simrap Market, Track Racer. And thanks to everybody that's watching as well. We like to do this and put on a show, and hope this was a good one to watch.
Absolutely. Richard Wilson for P2 on the night. Congratulations again. And Andrew, I believe you've got Matthew Selby waiting in the wings for a third place finish. I'm sure he's happy about that one.
First time we'll be talking to Matt Selby in the top 3 this season, a solid top 3 as well. You were in the fold a lot tonight, Matt. Kind of up and down night. Describe it to us.
We was kind of back and forth all night. I kind of learned that first run of trying to stay in that top 5, top 6. I sat back and kind of watched what Isaiah was doing after that first run and laid back with him. I was able to drive back up there, and I mean, we got into it with a couple guys there, and we lost position after Renner got into us. But besides that, I mean, we just kind of played our own game and seeing what happened. Let the cards fall as they may. So that's really all you could do.
And you were leading late in that run when that caution came out right at the end of the race. What was the plan there? What was going to go on?
Oh, I mean, I did not have enough fuel to make it whatsoever. So the plan was splash and go and see where we went, and we were really happy when the caution came out. So that's that was really all the plan. The plan was originally 2-tire stop, and then kept going and kept going. I was like, I think I'm just gonna do a splash, and then we luckily got the caution there.
Perfect timing then. And you know what, Zach? I'm going to change my lucky performance, lucky break of the day, and I'm going to make it that right there for Matt Selby, getting the caution when he needed to and driving back through a bit of the field up to third place. Matt, congratulations. 12 laps led for you, a possible career night. It's up there, certainly, for your season so far. Congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you again in season 4.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
That's Matt Selby this evening from the 3rd spot. I think that's a really fitting lucky performance, lucky break of the day. You get the caution right when you needed to. You come back out there, finish top 3. It's not the win that maybe he wanted out of that strategy, Zach, but I think a top 3 is probably better than he was going to get.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I think he benefited greatly from that caution coming out, especially with all the cars that were lapped down. It played more into his favor, obviously, and I'm sure he's glad for it. But yeah, a great way to end the season with a top 3.
And that means, Zach, guess who is coming to talk to you?
That would have to be Mason Houseman, our 2025 Season 3 champion for the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Mason, 6 wins on the season, one of the most consistent drives. You led 66 laps tonight. You tried to go for that all-time win record with your 14th career win before you switched to part-time next season, but wow, just what a job, man. Congratulations on the championship.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to say congratulations to Steven on his first win of the season. Well deserved there. Yeah, I wanted to beat the record, but it sucks because I wanted to do it, but I am happy that somebody won it that deserved the win.
Absolutely. I can respect the sportsmanship, I'll say, that you have for your fellow competitors here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. But, looking into next season, obviously you're going part-time. You're going to be shipping off to the Air Force Base to do some basic training. You said that you have plans to come back the next season after that and continue your winning ways here, but do you think you're at least going to pull off some wins here being part-time next season?
I'd like to. I'll probably set back a little bit more than what I think a lot of people are expecting me to run. I'm probably only gonna run like 2 or 3 races, just so I can figure stuff out before I head out. But no, I'd like to come back with some wins. But it feels good that I at least got 2 in a row for championships, and I can say that I'm up there on wins with Gavin, and that I've succeeded a lot in this league, and I'm happy that I can leave it off to somebody else to go have fun and get it for their first time. But then when I come back, you better watch out, because I'd like to win it for a 3rd time. Maybe not in a row, but I'd like to win it again.
There you go. Mason Houseman ending his night as champion. Didn't get the win, didn't break the record in the wins column just yet, but I'm sure he's going to be looking for it going into next season for those couple of races he'll get to run. But congratulations once again, Mason. We look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. I want to say thank you to you guys for this entire season. You guys have put out a great product. I want to say thank you to Andrew, because you have showed me a lot of the ways of broadcasting, and I really appreciate it. Zach, I want to say appreciate to you, because you let me join your esports team and I can help out people that want to get helped out with, I want to say thank you to my team. We've had a good season, we had a good season. I want to say thank you to Dustin. Congratulations, Dustin. You got to win this. 2 wins. 2 wins? Yeah, 2 wins this season. 1 or 2 wins this season. Brendan got a win, and Zach, we're going to work on getting him a win next season. I want to say thank you to the entire admin group, especially to Adam and Gavin and Steven. You know, they put a lot of effort into this league, and every week they make it so that we have the best league out there. And then obviously I want to say thank you to everybody who watches. You know, you guys are the reason why we put a product out for this. And yeah, obviously I also want to say thank you to everybody else in the league. You know, we have 33 cars tonight. That's a lot of cars for a season finale. That's almost unheard of. So thank you to everybody who raced this last race tonight. And yeah, I'm happy to say that I'm stepping off on good terms, but I'll be back for a couple races next season.
Well, congratulations once again, Mason. Thank you for a great season, and congratulations again, champ.
Yes, thank you, boys.
Well, Andrew, I think that's a great way to end off a season here, and we've covered extensively just how much these guys have all shown up and shown out in full force this year, and it's been an absolute great job from all of these guys.
Fantastic race to close things out as well. You look back on this season, and this has to be up there as far as most memorable races of the season. This had a whole lot to unpack. Cautions here and there, but nothing overbearing. We had just enough, I think, to make the race really, really fun. Stage 1 maybe had a couple extra that we didn't need, but that's okay. It was just one of those days, a really good day at the racetrack, the virtual racetrack here on iRacing.com. The league did a fantastic job in every way, and everybody, I think, had a good time. I think there will be some hurt feelings after this one, but hopefully they don't last too long because Season 4 is right around the corner. That'll do it for us as far as on-track stuff. I want to do mention as well that Isaiah Sutherland will take home the NARL Driver of the Day honors for the final race of the season. Excuse me. So congratulations to Driver of the Day, Isaiah Sutherland. I know Dakota Bly is bummed about not getting the nod there. Zach, maybe we got to look his way next time. He had a bunch of positions, finished 11th today. Certainly is an honorable mention for sure. Dakota Bly, most popular driver of the season. But it does go to Isaiah Sutherland, who dominated this race and ends up just a few spots shy. At the end, if we look at his stats, I mean, a solid day. And it doesn't look like domination. We look at only 45 laps led, but to win both stages, start first, come back to the front for those stages, and have the race all but won until that last caution involving him and running Maddox, that is a solid day at the office for Isaiah Sutherland. Sure. And just, again, I think this is an instant classic within this league. I really got to believe this is a classic race and finish now for these guys.
Absolutely. I'm very much inclined to agree. That was one heck of a way to finish a race, and I fully support seeing more of that kind of racing happening. I want to see these guys come out, do more races like that, and just let's keep having fun, man. Let's continue the good vibes here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series.
Want to give a shout out to those who allow us to have these good vibes on Tuesday nights. The Buttkicker, leader in haptics, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza, all doing so much for the series, as well as our partners here at Pit.TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League, allowing us to do what we do for these sim racing broadcasts. Next up for us, we head out to Le Mans, Circuit des 24 Hours de Mans. It's something close to that. I don't speak French, but I do my best. Anyways, we've got the most iconic corners on the racetrack coming at you at 180 miles per hour. Indianapolis, Arnage, the Porsche Curves, the Ford Chicanes, Tetra Rouge, the Mulsanne Chicanes, the Mulsanne Corner. There's so much to unpack at Le Mans. We've got it all for you on Thursday evening this week, April the 3rd, and then Sunday. It's a long one. It's the Majors World 600 in the Major Series. You see the Gen 4 Cup car on your screen at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval. It will be on the Legacy Oval, not the new oval, the Legacy Oval, with the almost Legacy Gen 4 Cup car. It's going to be a lot of fun this Sunday evening at 6:45 Eastern. Then a bit of a break for us here at Pit Stop TV. 11 days, no broadcasting. We come back with the North American Racing League at Detroit, and that's how we're going to get on here through the month of April, Zach. A bit of a quiet month for us. Going to calm down, get some things under, get some things working on for us here, and then get back right after when we come back to Detroit.
Absolutely. So much going on here at Pit Stop TV. Love to see that we get a bit of a week off, I'll tell you. But there isn't much going on when it comes to having a week off that we usually get here at Pit Stop TV. We cover so much great broadcasting, so much great racing, and so many great places to follow along. PitStopTV.com, Facebook.com/PitStopTV, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, TikTok.com/PitStopTV1, Twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, YouTube.com/PitStopTV1, and X.com/PitStopTV_. Make sure you go check out that new TikTok. It is brand new. Got some cool stuff getting posted on there. Got some cool stuff posted all over the social media here at Pit Stop TV. So much great stuff to check out. So much great racing to follow along with. And we can't wait to cover it here for you on Pit Stop TV.
It's been a fun one for sure. We never want to end these seasons, but we got to do it eventually. This season has come to a close. A fantastic day here at Homestead Miami Speedway. A classic for sure in this series. That'll do it for us this evening from Homestead Miami Speedway. Thanks so much for tuning in. A big thank you to all the partners who make this possible. We'll see you all in Season 4. Get ready. May 2025 is coming up soon.